Well, hello. Hello. Wow, it sounds good. It sounds really, really good. I'm very, very happy with this mic. Let me see here. Let's see if we can get some people in here and have a little chat. Um, yeah, I had to get a new microphone in case you guys were. How does it? Let me hold on a second. I want to pull up the chat so I can at least see you guys. Why is this happening? Why is it? All right, let's get rid of that. Give me a minute here. We'll be professional in just a second. I'm really happy about this. This looks like a pretty good setup to me. 153 people watching. The microphone is like in the way. It's like I'm not sure that I'm crazy about the location of the microphone, but it's on a stand now. Let me just show you. It's on, as you can see, it's on a stand, and no longer will it take up space on my desk. It's actually in the air now. Uh, I don't know. Does it sound all right? Yes, yes, yes. All right, all right. Get a boom. What, like a boom mic so it could come down from the ceiling? That's a thought, that's an idea. Uh, I'm upgrading the equipment as we go, a little bit at a time. I mean, it is important. Um, but I really hold on. I got to move this. All right. Now I can actually see what you guys are saying. Um, you need a hold mic. I don't know what that means, guys. I'm not so sure. Kill those lights, bro. You mean the lights up there? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you know what the problem with that is that when you turn those lights off, it takes a long time for them to come back on. Like you turn on the light switch and the lights come on, but they're dim. And for some reason, I think these are Al Gore environmentally safe light bulbs up there. I think, and so they take a long time for them to actually come on. So I counter this environmentalism by just leaving them on, and I never turn them off. Metalhead Zakai says, "Hey, Uncle E, will we be seeing any tutorials in the future? I'm planning to learn about sketching comic books." Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I'm thinking about doing a couple more drawing tutorials as I go. I just feel like it's boring. The problem is, guys, when I do these drawing tutorials, I feel like only a fraction of the audience cares. Not everyone wants to learn how to draw comics. Everybody wants to make fun of SJWs. Everyone wants to talk about Star Wars, but not everyone wants to learn to draw, and that is kind of it's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky. Uh, yeah. But I do kind of like doing it. Riot Kitty says, "What kind of mic is that?" So it is it's a Blue Yeti. It's the same microphone that I had before, but this time I got it in black, and then I bought normally it came on a little stand that would sit in front of you, but I bought it with the arm that is now kind of, it aims the microphone right at your face. I saw some other people using it on YouTube, and I was like, where do I get equipment like that? Mike is in shot, bad directing. Well, I mean, that's just because I put the camera right, on top of the mic. I can move. Wait, I can fix that. I can fix that, but then my head ends up. Hold on a second. It is bad directing. You're exactly right. That's better, right? I think that's better. Yeah, sounds better than the Yeti. Well, it is a Yeti. I mean, it is a Yeti, but it's brand new, and maybe that's one of the reasons why. I mean, I'm listening to it, and yeah, my voice sounds pretty good. Jesse Miller says my Twitter got nuked. Sorry, Caesar. Why did your Twitter get nuked? I'm turning the camera off. It's weird looking at myself. Why did your Twitter get nuked? What happened? And Bam 1030 says, "Can we talk about how bad Star Wars is?" Yeah, there are a couple of things that I'm waiting on. First of all, I've spent the morning working on the Jason Ward video. I need to get the fourth part of this video done. It's so, I mean, it really is a lot of work. And going through the telephone conversation, going through the interview and picking it apart. I had Andrea down here listening to it. She had some suggestions as well. She picked out and she noticed some things that were said that I didn't notice before. And that was pretty invaluable. So it's all about, again, what I do with everything that I do is tell stories. I need to tell stories. How do I arrange this in a way so that people who don't care about Star Wars, SJW Star Wars fandom will still be entertained by a video? Everything that we do, everything that I do is about telling a story and keeping people entertained. And that's why, choosing subjects can sometimes be tricky. I really like the personal stuff. I really like the kind of down to earth stuff. I might do a story about NERD claiming that the essay he wrote was part of a troll campaign. I have my doubts about that. I really do. He's out there saying, I just fooled them all. I was just pretending. To apologize for being mean about The Last Jedi. And everybody's like, high five. Great troll job. Great campaign. Great. And I'm kind of left confused about that. Like, was that a troll job? Was that really a troll job? And if it was, what exactly was the point of that troll job? Just to get reactions from people? I don't know. I'm not so sure. All right, I'm going to put this in. Let's see if anyone from Comicsgate wants to actually chat today. I started this live stream. You guys will have to excuse me. I started this live stream with absolutely nothing to say. I just got my new microphone and really wanted to test it out and see how it sounded on a live stream. So I'm going to invite some people in. We'll see if anybody wants to chat. And tonight tonight I'm doing an interview on Sweetcast. A lot of people do send me messages and say, will you submit to an interview and, or be on my podcast or and I usually say no, because I feel like people are kind of sick of me, but then, you don't want to overexpose yourself. But then I don't know, I had a change of heart. Maybe I should be talking on more people's people's channels. Matthias Danichi, thanks for $1.99. Ethan is a Dutch Quincy Jones. See the GIF I made? What's Quincy Jones? Oh, is that that's the music producer? You mean? Yeah, I can compare myself to Quincy Jones. I think that's adequate. I think it's a good comparison. Let me catch up with you guys here. Obi127883 says, Uncle EVS, the new replacement mic sounds great. Now I got to get a new webcam, guys. My webcam it just looks like garbage. It looks okay on my computer screen, but then when I see how it's broadcasting, it's all fuzzy and faded out. And I don't know. It just doesn't look as sharp as I want it to. Now that might be something that I'm doing wrong, but I haven't been able to figure it out. Somebody said that I should get this certain kind of. Somebody gave me a spec number of a camera that I should get. And maybe that's what I'll do. It's not like I want everybody to see me in perfect 4D resolution, but is it 4D? What am I thinking of? But then again, I think Mike S. Miller has a great camera. His picture comes through pretty good. I got to get something like that. Proper Jeremy says, NERD used me in his video. I feel violated. Yeah, I don't get the NERD thing. Hey Tug, hey Umbrella Guy, you want to come in here? I put the link in the chat in our private DM room. There's a lot of weirdness going on today too on Twitter. Obi-Wan says, go back and re-record the High Council from last night with your new mic. LOL. Will you skirt the no pie till celebration rule with chicken pot pie? The answer is no. By the way, yesterday I think I didn't do so good on my diet because while I was out at Best Buy, I went to Best Buy again. I was thinking about live streaming it, but I decided that you guys would just make fun of me. I went to Best Buy to buy new speakers for my computer. I wanted a good stereo speaker system. Went out there and bought one. And then on the way home, I passed the Boston Market. And I thought, well, one of the things that I eat is chicken. I'm allowed to eat chicken. And I stopped there and I ended up getting like a dinner for $6 at Boston Market and brought it home. And luckily there were, Kaylee was here with a friend, and there's Ava and Andrea. So almost 6 people are in the house. But anyway, the chicken that I got, I am positive that chicken has more calories than just a regular skinless, boneless chicken breast, like the type I normally eat to lose weight. But I didn't care. I went ahead and I ate that, and I ate some potatoes, and then I ate a chocolate chip cookie, a big one, and a little like a confession here. Well, they had a 5-pack of chocolate chip cookies. I brought them home thinking that Kaylee and Ava would eat them all, but they only ate one each, and there were 3 cookies on the counter. Now, I've said this time and time again. I control myself within the house, or no, I control myself at the supermarket, so I don't need to control myself in the house. That's what happens when I diet. When I go to the supermarket, I control what I buy, what I bring into the house, because once it's in the house, I will eat it. So Andrea didn't know that I ate a cookie. Andrea had no idea. That umbrella guy, thanks for $2. Hey there, chat and EVS. Hey there, Tug. She didn't know. And she said, how did you do on the scale today? And I said, well, and listen, I did step on the scale, and the scale said that I was 4 pounds heavier than I was 2 days ago. 4 pounds heavier. Of course, that's not true. That's ridiculous. You don't gain 4 pounds in 2 days. It's water weight. But even still, to not see a decline at all in my weight on the scale was alarming to me. And I said, I told her the truth. And she said, why? What happened? It was the Boston market. I said, yeah, maybe. I think I just overate yesterday. And then I said, count the cookies behind you. And her eyes got really wide. And she turned around and she looked by the oven where the cookies were still sitting in the plastic. And she counted 1, 2. Now, there were 5 originally. She knew the kids each had 1. There should have been 3 cookies left. And there were only 2. So she said, Ethan. I said, I know. She said, why did you do that? I said, I really don't know. I was just last night. I saw the cookies and I just ate one, and I just thought, well, I'll just eat a cookie. You can't just eat a cookie, because what that does is that makes you crave sugar again. It makes you crave those artificial sugars, so processed sugars. A gigantic chocolate chip cookie, not good. And she said, what do I do? And I said, well, I was like, will you please just hide them or throw them away? One of the two. And she said, well, where do you want me to hide them? I was like, I can't, Andrea, I can't tell you where I want you to hide the cookies that I want you to hide from me. And I said, I'm gonna go downstairs. You hide them wherever you hide them. And she was concerned. She's deeply concerned about my cookie consumption. So I'm back on the, I woke up this morning, and I felt chastened. I knew I had done badly. So I eliminated bacon from my breakfast. There was no bacon this morning. I had 3 eggs, and that's all I'm going to eat for the rest of the day. And if I get hungry, I'll go to sleep. I'll take a nap. I got to get back on the wagon. Darth Gavel, thanks for $5. Would you consider starting a comic series about the destructive culture of SJW NPCs? Well, it would be very similar to the comic I'm already doing, just without the aliens, But yeah. I just don't want to bore people. And the thing about it is that politics work best in comics when they're very, very subtle. I mean, for what you're talking about, look at Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Invasion of the Body Snatchers was about communism overtaking, the minds of the American people who should have known better. I mean, that's what the movie was about. It was a very, very subtle metaphor, but it was a good one, because if you don't know that, you can still watch the movie and it's still really scary and really good. Those are the kind of politics that I think belong in comics. That kind of subtle messaging. I'm not into that. That's not what I really want to do. Rezakai says, nice pick of your Rose line above your PC, EVS. Oh, thanks. Yeah. So the SJWs are after me again today. Big time. big time. And this one, first of all, these weirdos think that me cutting up a Rose Tico action figure was absolutely the worst thing that anybody's ever done. In fact, they think it's a sign that I am a serial killer. They think somebody who would insert a pair of scissors uh, into a container, a pocket in which a human shaped or a human figure is sitting and snip its head off, which is what I did. They think that is absolutely the worst thing in the world. They're condemning me for it. And they're basically telling me that I should go to hell and I'm a serial killer and all this stuff. Sounds a bit like abortion, everyone. Sounds a bit like an abortion, which, I don't know. Make your own judgment on that. These weirdos. A brown comic book reader, $1.99 says, "Hey there, touch, tug. I don't know if you meant touch or not." Matthias Danichi says, "After that story, you're a Comicsgate Oprah." And Wonder Girl 60s, thanks for $5, says, "Simple Mills brand cookies are a great tasting natural cheat cookie. I have a great paleo cookie recipe I can share with Andrea if you want." Well, I just feel like uh, no, I feel like I can do without them. I don't want the thing about it is that when I was a vegetarian, and I was a vegetarian for a long time, from the ages 16 to 18. I was like an animal rights activist, hippie vegetarian. A lot of people don't know that about me. It's absolutely true. That's why I was thin. I mean, I looked like I don't know, man. I was really, really skinny. I look like Charlie Buckets from the original Willy Wonka movie. And that was all because I wasn't eating meat. But what we did instead was my mom would bring these meat substitutes into the house. You know, it's like, hey, this is a meatless hamburger patty, and it doesn't taste anything like a hamburger. But it's like, you know what? Like, why are we like, why if we're vegetarians, why aren't we like eating vegetables? Why are we so obsessed with the taste of meat that we have to resort to substitutes? Never really made sense to me. Um, and it was awful. Here's some meatless chicken nuggets. It's tofu. This is tofu and soy. That's awful. It's absolutely awful. So when it comes to something like cookies, just cut them out. I mean, the kind of the sweet craving, like the cravings for sweets that I naturally have, I'll get them from like an apple. I'll eat an apple. Andrew Main says, longtime subscriber, first super chat. Eat the cookie, cookie good. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate the super chat, and I'm glad that you have been here with me for a long time. It's awesome. Scroll down and catch up with you guys again. When I stop to tell a story, I pause the chat and think about it for a little while. Eating carbs like bread and pasta sugar equals fat. That's right. Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, you can cut those things out. Not only are carbs fattening, but they also like slow you down. Now that I'm like eating proteins, lean proteins, and like caffeine, it's just protein, caffeine. I have a lot more energy. I'm losing weight. I have a lot more energy to focus on my work. When you're like weighed down by like breads and pies and cakes and all that stuff, it makes you drowsy. And I have a stupid job. My job is to sit here and draw and remain focused on a single page for hours and hours at a time. Normal people will fall asleep. If you're eating like a normal person, you will just pass out at your desk. Proper Jeremy says, thanks for $5. He says, how does that umbrella guy travel? Does he float around like Mary Poppins? If he loses his umbrella, will he lose his powers like Thor's hammer? I don't know. I think um, I like to think of that umbrella guy as an actual kind of superhero now, with some kind of powerful umbrellas. But I don't think that's what he's doing. I think he's a Resident Evil fan. I think that's where the whole idea of the umbrella came from the Resident Evil Umbrella Corps. No, not Corps, Corporation, Corp. And the thing about it is that I love Resident Evil too. I like the movies. I've never played the video games. I mean, the movies, all zombie stuff is good. But we've talked about this before. That woman Uh, Mila Jovovich. Oh God, names are coming back to me now. That's the other thing about quitting pie. Your memory gets sharper. Mila Jovovich is one of the most beautiful women in the world. We talk about Brie Larson being a couch potato, being somebody who really should not be a superhero. She doesn't look like a superheroine. There's something about her face that's very plain. I'm not saying she's not a good actress. Perhaps she is. But she should not be an idealized superhero character. It's just not what she looks like. Mila Jovovich is. Ali Larter is. I mean, those women look great. They look dynamite in those Resident Evil movies. They do look badass. They do look badass. But they also just look idealized. They look like comic book characters. So I love those Resident Evil movies. I mean, two or three of them are actually good. Panboy Lando, Sweet Child Dong Lover says JDA on War Campaign tonight. Hail Caesar, 8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, JDA reached out to me and said that isn't a trap, is it? No, it's not a trap. Look, we are striving for peace right now. And that is one of the reasons why SJWs are absolutely going nuts. They're going bananas and they're going berserk and they're going ape. And the reason why is that we are trying to make peace. Comicsgate comic skaters are not in agreement with each other about everything. And because of that, because we've had some misunderstandings and some spats and, some quarrels, Comicsgate has split up into various factions and cliques, and they're just cliques, but we're all still kind of Comicsgate. I've felt like maybe there was a way that I could talk to people and get them to agree about stuff, agree to disagree, but still like, hey, we're not going to agree about everything, but we're still kind of a family here, and we're working towards the same cause, which is the utter annihilation of SJWs within comics. Hold on a second. Sorry, like when I was assembling the mic, my giant pen tower kind of twisted. It looked like it was going to fall apart, so I had to fix that real quick. But anyway, we're all working towards the same cause, so there's no reason why we shouldn't just all kind of get along. In my opinion, we can just agree to disagree and still kind of support each other and focus our energy outwards. And I think that would be a better use of our time. So John Delarose is a guy who, we've had some disagreement with. I mean, I've disagreed with him about a few things, but at the same time, man, that guy is an effective spokesman for Comicsgate, and he has his own following, his own crowd. There's no reason why we shouldn't get along and be able to kind of support each other, market each other's work, et cetera, et cetera. Now, all of these things are predicated on trust, obviously. If JDA, gets out of line, obviously it's war again. But I don't think anybody wants that. I think people kind of want to get along, and there's a nice feeling in the air of working together. And I'm also reaching out to other people. I'm reaching out to other people who have felt isolated by Comicsgate, who have felt like they have been shunned, at least by my clique within Comicsgate. And that's all it is. It's just a clique. Well, my friends. I'm talking to them. Let's see if we can get everybody back. It'd be nice to get everybody back together again in time for the summer, because summertime is when we're going to do a lot of campaigning for new comics. Cyberfrog, Blood Honey will be out in everybody's hands. They'll have read it. They'll be ready for Rainbow Brute. They'll be ready for Cyberfrog Wrecked Planet. We gotta just get everybody kind of together for Cyberfrog Comicsgate Phase 2. Obi-Wan said, oh, wow, thanks for $10. Invite Cecil. Uncle EVS, avocados are supposed to be great for weight loss and tasty. Try cutting it in half. Cross-hatch, cut it in the skin. Add light Himalayan salt, then eat with a spoon. Thank me later. I've never been a guy who likes avocados, but my wife loves them. Loves avocados. I prefer sweet potatoes. And I will throw one in the oven in the morning and just let it sit there at 300 degrees for 7 hours. I just let it cook until it's just falling apart, and then add some butter and salt, and that's lunch. And it's a small one. It's not a huge one. You don't want to eat too much of it, but I think it's great. And it will hold you over. The key thing to losing weight is to actually think of food as what is going to fill you up, for the least calories. You can eat I mean, the thing is, like with something like a hamburger, a Big Mac, we're making fun of that the other day. A Big Mac, you'll eat a Big Mac and it's like 1,100 calories. And the thing about it is that's maybe you could eat 2 Big Macs in an entire day. That is your caloric, allowance if you're trying to lose weight. But you eat 2 Big Macs, that's not enough. You're going to be hungry again in 2.5 hours, and you're going to have to find something else to eat, and you're going to be craving more Big Mac. So it's better just to leave that stuff out. Eggs are great. A hard-boiled egg goes a long way. It's a calorie bomb, but man, it really does just fill you up, and it lasts a long time. I mean, I'll eat 3 hard-boiled eggs and I am good. I'm just fine. I don't know why that is. CIA Bog says, ew, you like the movies. Yeah, I do. I like those movies. CA Cunningham says, 1 cookie for you, EVS. 1 cookie is all you're entitled to. 1 cookie for you, EVS. Yeah, no kidding. Like, honestly, not even 1 cookie, less than 1 cookie. Why did I do that to myself when I was doing so good? And what that does is it kind of screeches your body to a halt a little bit. You know, it does. Hey EVS, have you seen Andy Worski's videos on Ian Miles Chung? What are your feelings on it? Says Downshift. I'm avoiding all of that drama. You know what? I'm tired of it lately. I watched because I watched the new Dame Pesos about Tonka and Andy Worski and the fight that never happened, and it just kind of made me feel sad. Like I really enjoyed the Mundane Matt stuff. I could watch people making fun of Mundane Matt all day long because he is a piece of garbage who came after me personally. But I don't, them fighting and Ian turning out to be this or that. I can't, man. My heart can't take it. I've got too much love in my heart right now. I can't take like fighting and hatred. I can't. I just want people to get along. James Dean, creator of Conflict, said that Cyberfrog Cityscape looked insane. Yeah, that's Philadelphia. Thank you. I've just finished that up. And was it worth it? I think so. It took a long time to do, but see, most people at this point, they just run a filter through a photograph. But I mean, for me, old school, just busting out 3 sheets of paper, doing a 3-point perspective grid, finding reference for the city, and then actually, drawing Philadelphia. That's the way we used to do things. And I think it looks better. I mean, for all of its little flaws and things like that, the real human touch of comic book artwork, where it's not perfect, it'll never be perfect, but somebody drew it with their hands and their eyes and their heart. That should be what comic books are. And now I don't know, man. These 3D models, I don't like it. I don't like using 3D models. I don't like the cheating. I want to see the results. Here's the thing about 3D models. So what people do, in case you don't know, is you can go and you can get you can say, hey, this is Spider-Man's body here. Okay, so you got a perfect human, anatomically perfect action figure that you can rotate and pose on your computer. You can find that pose. You can twist it however you want. You print it out and basically you trace it, and there you go. Who's going to ever complain? Now, that to me, and it's like a perfect drawing of Spider-Man. That to me is such garbage. I don't want that. Man, I want to see like your idea of the human form. I want to see evidence that you understand and have studied the human form. I want to see your flaws and imperfections. I want to see it through your eyes. I want to see the exaggeration of the human form as understood by each individual artist. I don't want these like cheating. It's just cheating. The idea is to aim for perfection all the time, and strive for it. Strive for something perfect. Strive for something perfectly beautiful. But arrive there on your own. If you're ever to arrive there, it's because you work to get there. It's not about cheating. You can't just download a photograph from Google and then run it through a filter and then call it your art. It's not art. It's just not. It's not comic book art in any case. It's not what people were expecting. And I think when people see that, they think that it is your art, that you sat down and drew that by hand. And That's deceptive. Everything is a scam lately. I'm like really tired of it. Man, in the 90s, everyone was working really, really hard to become better draftsmen. You know, that was the thing. How can I learn? Here's what I have. I have these pens. Do you have better pens? Do you have better brushes? Better what tools do you use? Because I want to master those tools. How do you do this? What perspective tricks do you know that you can teach me? That's what this channel started out as being. Me saying, hey guys, let me show you what I've learned. Let me show you the knowledge and skills that I've amassed over the 25 years that I've worked in comics, and let me see if it helps you. But I don't know if it's even necessary anymore. I don't know if that's what you do. I'm like I'm John Henry driving these railroad spikes in by hand while there's a steam engine drill press, whatever that thing was. What was that? What was that myth? Oh, who's that? Who's this?
It's Critias.
Oh, hey, Critias, how you doing?
What's going on, EBS? How's everything?
Oh, good, man. It's good to see you. And we're actually looking at Critias today.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I'm all cleaned up right now.
But this is the thing. Like, people have to learn how to draw, man. Learn how to draw, and I think even people's mistakes become endearing. And right now, like, I think about Rob Liefeld and the way Rob and Extreme Studios and those boys who were doing those comics that weren't very good in the 90s. It's like they were full of mistakes. They were full of just immature kind of posturing, and man, that stuff is golden compared to what's coming out today.
Right. Yeah, I like the details. When you posted the picture and you said they used that pen, I fell in love with the details, even though you were just still, you wasn't even done with the artwork. It was beautiful.
Thank you. I had these. First of all, these rapidographics, these Kono rapidographics, they cost about $27 a piece, and they are entirely what I used in the 2000s. Like, I think I drew most of Green Lantern Rebirth with a rapidograph.
Oh.
And when I was inking myself, I mean, then I think half of that book was inked by inkers, another inker. But the problem is they clog up. You can get great consistent detail with them if you can get one that serves you well. Like, you might run through 5 of them before you find one that actually works and will last for a long time. And that's because they're just the pen is just a tiny little microscopic tube with a microscopic wire stuck in the middle of it, that allows the ink to come out. So picture that. Now, if there's the slightest bit of rust, that wire gets stuck and it doesn't move to allow ink to go through, or the wire might have slipped out a little bit past the tube, and that ruins the pen. That makes it not work. There are a billion reasons why a technical pen, a rapidograph, just will clog up and fail to work on you. So, I stopped using them once I discovered Copic multiliners. And Copic multiliners are like fine tip, like felt pens. So, you don't get the same consistency. Like, you can't get the same thing out of a Copic multiliner that you can get out of a tech pen, but it can come pretty close.
Right.
I don't want to do cityscapes with a tech pen, but I mean, I don't want to do cityscapes with a Copic multiliner, but I have done them. Doing cityscapes and doing actual like architectural drawings. It's something that it's better off using a Kono or rapidograph. You're just better off. You're going to get a better result.
Excuse me. But the details, I mean, the pen you use, oh man, I was just so amazed. I haven't seen artwork like that in years.
Hey, Mike S. Miller says use a quill. Yeah, Mike, I don't think so. I wouldn't use a quill to do I would use a quill I would never use a quill at all. But if I were going to use a quill, like you do, and that's your tool, you've mastered your quill. Organic stuff. I wouldn't use it for buildings. I would never use it for buildings. I just wouldn't. No.
Is it more complicated to use a quill?
Well, a quill is, first of all, a quill varies based on line pressure, line weights based on pressure. So to get it doesn't matter how hard you push on a rapidograph, you're still going to get the same straight line, which is kind of what you're looking for when you're doing something that is as consistent and it's inflexible and hard as, say, a window or like not a brick, but you know, some kind of like flat, hard surface.
Right.
You know, it's all about, everything is so subtle. Everything is like scientific, and you learn. It's like inking is all about creating textures using almost no lines. So, you know, if you can figure out a way to indicate that this surface here is flat, hard marble, and just, you know, what's the best tool to do that with? You wouldn't use a brush to do that.
Right.
You wouldn't use a crow quill to do that. You wouldn't use a magic marker to do that. You would, you know, and I wouldn't even use a Copic multiliner to do it, really, even though I have been doing it lately. The best thing to use is something that's going to put down a very consistent architectural line, and that would be a Cohen or rapidograph. You know.
Right. Yeah, I get it. It's like you want to do comic pages, color it with crayons, you know?
Yeah, well, it's just about the way lines work.
Right.
You know, like if you were going to draw a horse, if you're going to draw the outline of a horse, okay,
Right.
there would be a way, or let's just say not a horse, let's say a sheep, something that's really, there would be a way to put down lines and tools that you would use to put down those lines, the outline of the sheep, that would suggest softness, okay?
Okay.
As opposed to if you were going to draw a house, you know, you would use a different kind of pen, a different set of tools to imply and denote the hardness, the inflexibility, the firmness of the
Right.
materials that go into building up that house.
Can I ask you a question?
You know?
Who taught you how to ink? Because I saw that you do both. You do pencil and ink.
Yeah. I don't you know, I haven't penciled in a long time. I taught myself to ink.
Hmm.
It's just a process. You learn these things when you work for this many years, and you know, being around other artists helps. But I got to say, most of the stuff that I learned early on. You know, when you're feeling your way around and trying to learn what you're doing, you're the first people that you kind of encounter. Trent Kanuga, Matt Martin, those guys from Hall of Heroes. We used to just sit around Matt Martin's dining room table.
Hmm.
And we'd all be working on our different projects. Like I'd be working on Cyberfrog pages, and Matt would be working on Vortex, and Trent would be working on Creed. And we would just sit there and kind of talk to each other about what we were doing. It was a mini studio situation that only lasted, because I would only be there for like a week, or maybe one time I think I stayed for 2 weeks at Matt's house. They let me stay there because he was in Indiana and I was in New Jersey. So I had to take the bus out there and hang out. You know, that's when you learn things. You learn everything from your initial foray into drawing comics.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. I wish I had a group like that. I could learn some techniques.
Yeah. It's good. It's helpful. I mean, that's what people in studios get out of it.
Right.
People are making fun of me in the chat. All right, let me read some of these super chats. Right. Hail Caesar, hero of the LGBTQ, says Jack Straw. Oh, LGBTQ plus. Yeah. Of course. I am a champion for the Republican LGBTQ plus Republicans. I was invited to speak, Critias.
Really? Oh yeah,
yes,
right. I read the Twitter post. Oh man, I was excited for you.
It is very exciting. Now, of course, they came to the right person.
Right.
You know, there's nobody who is a bigger champion. There's nobody that's a bigger champion for gays than me.
Right, I agree.
And that includes SJW gays too. Now, they don't have to accept me as their champion, but I am their champion anyway.
Yep.
I've always been, Critias.
I believe it. I 100%. I'm happy you're gonna do it. You know, I'm excited. Like I said.
Well,
you know.
I haven't said that I'm going to do it yet. I'm thinking about it. There are safety concerns. You have to realize SJWs want to literally kill me. I mean, they want to find me so they can kill me.
Right.
And that's a serious concern. Like, I don't want to die. You know, well, no, I don't. I don't want to go somewhere and be killed by SJWs.
No, I agree.
Well, hold on. Let me think about
it. You don't want to EVS.
No, but I mean, the movie about me would be better.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
That'd
Like
be a
I have
good,
to think about it. It's
that'd
like,
be a
well,
good ending.
how do I want my story to end? You know, I'm up there like, here's how I see my story ending. I'm up there championing gay rights. You know what I mean? In front of, in front of Take Back Pride.
Right.
I'm up there like these, you guys, I don't know. What would I say? I'll write a speech. But I'd be up there and people would be crying. Like they'd be so moved by my words. And they would be so impressed by what I had to say. I'd be changing lives. And right at that point, right, SJWs come at me with machine guns. I'm like, now I have a pie in my pocket, okay? And that pie blocks the first round. It's just lucky. Like God reminded me to bring a pie. Now the bullet hits my pie tin and it ricochets. And I'm like, and everybody's like, are you okay? I'm like, oh my God. And I get up and I'm like, they're not gonna stop me from speaking on behalf of the LGBTQ plus community, at least the Republican contingent of said same. And then I'm up there talking, and then another round of bullets, this time from the other side. Brrr, and that's what and then I'm okay, and then I fall down, I'm bleeding out of the mouth, and my last words are like, you know, tell the gay community that they can be whatever they want to be.
You really planned this out, didn't you?
Yeah, just now. And then the music swells, the camera rises up from my dead body, and then it haywires to the Lincoln Memorial. And there's
What if we have like a twist where NASA was working undercover for the SJWs and he sets you up?
no. Well, Nasser like set me up.
Yeah.
No, I don't think Nasser would do that. Obviously it's it's a conspiracy within the comic book community. Like these weirdos. Here's what, and it happens like right when Marvel goes out of business. Like Marvel closes its doors, and that same day, like I'm out there like, don't worry about it. You can still be what you want to be. And then and then they riddle me with bullets. The first round doesn't kill me because I've got a pie. And I'm like, thank God, I'm a pie-eating son of a gun. Woo! And everybody's proud that I ate pies and it saved my life. But it only saved my life for a few minutes, because then the SJWs persist. And what it would do, it would be like, no, it would be a woman who did it. It'd be a third wave feminist. And I'd be like, riddled with bullets. And then it would say, and then she persisted. That's what it'd be. I lived, but she persisted. And then I died. And that's going to be the end of my movie. And people will cry. They'll leave the theater going, here's what people will say. They'll say, I always knew Ed Skyver was a great guy. I just didn't know how great.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Yeah.
He took care of the people, man. He was he was a man of the people.
Yeah. He was a man of the gays.
Yeah, there you go.
He was a man of the gay community. That's how I see it. So I have to think about this. Like, am I ready to go yet? No, I have so much work left to do. Not just on my comics, even though, of course, Cyberfrog is the most important comic book of the decade.
Right.
And that's an understatement. When I say Cyberfrog Blood Honey is the most important comic book of the decade, that's an understatement.
Right. It's a good book. And I like so far what you've been showing everybody on Twitter.
Yeah. Now, if I say Cyberfrog was the most important comic book of the century, that would still be an understatement.
Right.
Right.
It looks good. I mean, the whole redesign of the way he looks and everything. Oh, it's beautiful. He looks gorgeous.
Thanks, Critias. And that's an understatement too.
Right.
A lot of people are understating the importance and beauty of Cyberfrog right now. Yeah.
I agree. And then a lot of the mainstream they think is it's still gonna go nowhere, but Cyberfrog is going places they haven't seen yet.
I know. SJW Spider-Man on Twitter today. This is the thing. Like sometimes people take advantage of my kindness and humility.
Right.
And that's the thing. That's the sad thing. Like that's the real crime. when people take advantage of my humility.
Right.
SJW Spider-Man said, your book isn't that important. Cyberfrog isn't the most important book of the century. You even said that you don't think it could crack the Diamond Top 100. And then he called me a bastard. No, what did he call me? Who knows what he called me? Call me something profane, okay? So he said, your book is not the most important comic of the century, Ethan. It isn't. And I'm like, and he's like, well, name another one. You know what I mean? Like, what is more important than Cyberfrog? And as soon as you ask questions like that, like, they don't have anything to say.
Right.
They don't have, right. So he said, you said that it wouldn't even crack the Diamond Top 100. And I responded to him. And I want you, when I say this, Critias,
right.
I want you to imagine that I'm wearing white robes. Okay.
All right.
And I have the most serene, kind facial expression that you can imagine.
Your face is glowing.
Yeah.
Right.
I said, I am a humble man, SJW Spider-Man. I didn't expect Cyberfrog Blood Honey to raise more than $8,000. Right. Similarly, I don't expect Cyberfrog to crack the Diamond Top 100. But whenever I doubt myself, I'm always proven wrong, which keeps me humble.
Okay.
Love it. So that is that's like, I don't think you can, again, that is the loop, the humility loop of Comicsgate and of someone like me. Like, yeah, I go into things thinking I couldn't do it. And then, I'm like, of course I succeed wildly beyond anyone's expectations. And I'm reminded of just how fallible I am, because not even I fully comprehend how great I am.
Right.
Yeah. And that's where the humility comes in. Like, I can't know everything. I can't know how great I am 100% of the time. And this is the kind of thing that you impart to Renfamous and SJW Spider-Man.
They hate it. They excuse me. They hate your greatness. That's what it is.
Yeah,
They want your voice and they want your face.
Jesus Franco goes, yeah, you have a tiny nose too. That's the kind of delusion we're propagating here today. Welcome, Nasser.
Hello, Ethan.
It's good to hear from you. I haven't heard from you in a little while.
Yeah, it's awesome to be on. It has been. It's probably been like a month.
Yeah.
Nasser, are you going through puberty? Your voice is changing.
Oh, I'm sick.
Oh.
Hugh Hoyland points out that Ethan is so humble that his humbleness is humble. My humbleness is humbling.
I agree.
Yeah.
Right. For being the most charming man on earth, Ethan is very humble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these aren't things that I say about me. Like, these are things that these are realities that present themselves to me, and I'm humbled by them.
Right.
Like,
you're a very charismatic man. You love the people, and the people love you, and and they don't like that.
Corey Hawkins says, "Can I have your old mic, EVS? It's broken. I put it in my garbage can. It's broken. Like, if you got it and plugged it in, it would go.
You should auction it off.
A broken microphone? I don't think so. I mean, that's.
You got to.
I would pay for it.
I don't know. Yeah. Let me read some. I would never do that. I would give my microphone away. I will give this rapidograph away I will give this rapidograph away to somebody. I will send it. It's going to be broken, but I will send it to somebody who would like a souvenir of the process of creating the most important book of the century, and that is an understatement. Cyberfrog Blood Honey. It's an understatement.
It's the most important book of probably the last 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Let me think about that. Like, let me think about what books came out in the last 1,000 years.
The Art of War. It was in one of them.
Yeah. Like, there are a lot of books that came out in the last 1,000 years, so I don't want to leap to conclusions. But it's possible.
Right.
It's possible. Did Beowulf come out in the last 1,000 years? Because that was the first book. No, Beowulf was way older than that, right?
Yeah, I think it was older. Cyberfrog is just as big as the Tale of Gilgamesh.
Dr. Fantastic points out that the King James Bible came out in the last 1,000 years. Am I saying that Cyberfrog is... No, I would never say...
No.
It wasn't... Here's the thing about it. The Bible was written way before 1,000 years ago. You know, I think if I were saying that Cyberfrog is the most important book of the last 2,000 years, then maybe I'd be pushing it. You know, you'd be like, wait a second, EVS. But I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the last 1,000 years.
So what's the most popular book that came out 1,000 years ago? Is the question.
Doesn't matter. Cyberfrog tops it.
I mean, maybe Lone Star.
No, Graveyard Shift is better than Lone Star.
Lone Star is like Cyberfrog's made.
Heart of the Hero. Lone Star, Heart of the Hero. Yeah. Somebody says Cyberfrog may be in the top 1,000,000. Splendopia says that. Well, of course it is. It's at the top of the top 1,000,000.
A few people are saying the Bible, then Cyberfrog.
Why don't I call this the Bible Part 2? Oh, that's been done. They did that before.
Has it?
Yeah, the Gnostic Bible is like the Bible Part 2.
Yeah.
Part 2. It's To Kill a Mockingbird, The Great Gatsby. Yeah, the Gnostic Bible is like the Bible Part 2. What the?
Nasser, is that you?
No, that's Mike.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, is Mike in here?
I'm in Twitter jail.
How you doing, Mike?
Mike, how come you're in Twitter jail?
Because he's a bigot.
All right, let me close that up. Because I got into an argument with someone on Mike Diodato's thread, and it was like I was responding, but someone reported just my responses instead of like.
What was your response?
It was like a tit for tat. So it was for harassment.
You're banned for harassing people?
Harassment. Here, hold on. I took screen caps before I had to, because you have to like delete your tweets in order to get back on.
Oh yeah, that's
so I screen capped them before I deleted them.
Oh yeah. You got to delete those tweets. They make you do that. Like they're just like delete this tweet and we'll let you back on Twitter. It's like, my God, can't you just delete it for me? Like,
yeah, right.
It's Twitter. So what's my choice here? My choice is just to let the stupid tweet stand and then just never come back on Twitter. Just delete the tweet.
Yeah, it says you violated our rules against abusive behavior. You may not engage in targeted harassment, or incite other people to do so. Which is crap because it was literally just a conversation between me and one other guy. And this is the first one they tagged. I hate to be that guy, but you've done that twice in the conversation. So clearly you don't know you're using the wrong word. I'm twice your age. You're a child, and it's showing badly. Because he kept saying your Y-O-U-R instead of Y-O''re. And he did it 3 times in this conversation. So he's clearly... the next one was, I have to stop. I feel like I'm beating up on a retarded kid.
Oh, you shouldn't have said that. God. That's the
and then
problem.
the other ones, yay, more delusion. You're a barrel of monkeys, fanboy. And then the last one was, the Ben Shapiro plug was great, but I was over 100,000 for my first Indiegogo comic book before that ever happened. So my being ostracized by left-wing dullards like yourself couldn't have been a bigger blessing. That's what I got banned from Twitter for having.
That's true.
And the other side of the conversation was him calling me a moron and an idiot and all this freaking crap.
Oh, poor Mike.
No, I'm just saying it's such a one-sided bullcrap, It's like,
I don't know. Mike, it's about time you were banned, though. Let's be honest.
I know. Seriously, for this, though. This is ridiculous. I should have been banned for way better stuff.
I like dullard. I like the word dullard.
Right? It's a great word.
It means you're what does that mean? You're like a dimwit.
Yeah.
Let me see. Immortal Coil says, can we talk Cyberfrog for a second? What can you say about the home planet, Chelsen's mission, and how Cyberfrog and Salamandroid fit into it? Well, we can talk about Cyberfrog, Mike. Mike, Cyberfrog is the most important book of the last century. And that's putting it mildly. That's an understatement.
Most important book since Lone Star. I'll agree with you.
Well, I brought that up, Mike. I did say that. I did suggest that Lone Star was also important, just not the most important book of the last century. What can I say about the home planet? Cyberfrog's home planet, they are aliens that figured out how to repel the Vespas. Okay? That's who they are. What is Chelsen's mission? Chelsen's mission, she's one of many living spacecraft that was sent to Earth, sent to a planet. She was sent to Earth to bring the little unborn, kind of fetal mass that became Cyberfrog and Salamandroid in order to repel the incoming Vespis invasion. That's how Cyberfrog and Salamandroid fit into it. So there you go. MW77 says, a Cyberfrog omnibus would be great. You'd make a killing. Yeah, somebody's going to publish it. There's a publisher that's going to publish that, I think. I don't know. I couldn't be less enthused about that, Mike.
I think you should probably just do that through Indiegogo. I mean, at least at first, because, dude, look where Polito got just doing stuff through Indiegogo first, right? And without 100,000 people watching him on YouTube, he got what, $270,000 on his last $290,000 on his last campaign, and it was because he was putting stuff together like that. Yeah. Now, I don't think you should be doing all of this by yourself. Freaking hire a staff, man. Hire a staff.
I don't.
You just need a couple people to handle all of that kind of crap for you.
Who? I don't know any competent people.
I know, that's the.
I only know imbeciles on Twitter.
It's so hard to find competent people. Why is it so hard to find competent people?
Yeah. Listen. Somebody just said, "Hey, we'll put it out." I went, "All right, cut me a check."
Yeah, but dude, if Brian can get up to almost $300,000, can you imagine if you had his kind of backlog and you were doing, dude, you'd be doing $2 million Indiegogos.
Well, in any case, we are going to do this. Cyberfrog merch is coming, Mike.
Hire staff.
No, I'm just saying, there's going to be a Cyberfrog plushie.
Nice.
There's going to be a Cyberfrog statue. There's going to be a Cyberfrog trading card set. And
dude, get a hold of like Mega Blocks and get like Cyberfrog Mega Blocks.
Well, let's wait until that comes out. This is just people who these are just organizations that know that this is a big deal. Once Cyberfrog actually comes out, there's going to be no stopping it. I'm sure that I'll have a lot more opportunities like that. But these are people who are just taking a risk. Like, hey, it looks like it's a pretty big deal. They don't yet realize, but they suspect that this is the most important comic book of the last 100. Last 100 years. 100 years. Can't think of a more important. To Kill a Mockingbird? No. Absolutely not. War and Peace. When was that written? That was written more than 100 years ago.
Yeah.
I would say Graveyard Shift is up there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would say that too. I would. All right, so Jason Green says, great to hear you on the High Council last night. I hope you and the family enjoy what I'm sending to Jeff for Star Wars Celebration. Love you guys. Oh, thanks. Lucas Lavador, thanks for $5. James Dean, creator of Conflict, says, digital art models and traceovers don't feel like art to me. There's no aftermarket value in the work when it feels so mechanical and copied. That is exactly right.
Yeah.
That's why Mike doesn't do it. You look at Mike's work, and Mike's work is hand-drawn. You know what I mean? Like, he sits there and he works it out with a pencil.
I'll do it sometimes.
Yeah.
I'll do it sometimes, but not on figures. I'll do it like if I have to draw a motorcycle or something.
Seriously?
Yeah. Not very often, but yeah, like that freaking cathedral I did in or not the cathedral, the Los Angeles Library.
Yeah.
Yeah, I printed that out. I'm like, dude, I just have to redraw that whole thing. It'd be stupid.
Yeah.
Cheat sheet.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I would learn how to draw the motorcycle. But I mean, Mike is almost as good as me, and And so, I mean, well, by good, I don't mean talented. I just mean like noble, like not noble. What's the word I want to use?
Righteous.
Righteous. So a word that, like ethical. I would use the word ethical. Like,
The
ethics.
thing
in
is, I
comic
can
art.
do it. Yeah. I mean, look, what a freaking pain in the butt would this have been to just sit there and rule out and do all that freaking crap when it's like, it's already gonna take me 2 hours to ink the damn thing, so I might as well just.
People are calling Mike a fraud in the chat.
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. I didn't want Mike to admit that. I try to protect Mike from himself. It doesn't always work.
Hey, did you see what I did last night, Ethan? Were you watching?
No.
Oh, so I took an old.
Were you watching? No.
The Michael Ringo Spider-Man.
Let me see.
I had.
Oh, hold on a second. I'm looking at my. Okay, let me see, Mike. Whoa, what is that?
So I had this original Michael Ringo Spider-Man cover breakdown, and I was never going to do anything with it, so I decided to just change it a little bit and make it an original Michael Ringo Lone Star cover.
You should have left it alone.
Nah, I would never do anything with it. It was only a breakdown, so it was like worthless artistically, like in a collector's market or anything. And I was like, well,
Wow.
I've worked with Mike before in the past, so.
Nasser, you know, are you thinking what I'm thinking, Nasser?
Yes.
What are you thinking?
Well, I mean,
First of all, the cover looks silly. Second of all, how can you disgrace him like that?
Disgrace?
Yes.
I brought his artwork back to life.
No, you didn't. You ruined it.
See, it says Ringo down there.
I wouldn't say he ruined it. I'm just saying, it's a bit like saying, I have this half-finished Rembrandt pencil sketch, and I'm just going to ink over it and turn it into a Lone Star cover. You know what I mean? It's like what you had was like, maybe 15 years ago, an unfinished Mike Waringo sketch might not be anything. It might not be that big of a deal. But they're not making any more of them, Mike. And
No, but I have inked Mike in the past. So
you should have just made a copy of it, and then you could have inked over that.
Nah. Where's the fun in that?
Do you remember that? Yeah, somebody points out it's like that Jesus painting. Do you remember that woman who her job was to restore that Jesus painting, and she just went in and, it's just adding paint.
Everybody in the chat loves it, so you guys are
wrong. Chat. Well, I'll ask the chat. Chat, if you think what Mike did was kind of inappropriate, just give me a 1. If you think what Mike did was great and for the best, and that Lone Star doesn't look weird in that pose, give me a 2. 1 or 2. We're gonna ask the chat what they think, and see. Some people are saying I support Mike. Google user says, "How dare you, Ethan?" 1 1 1. There are 3 2s. Mike typed in a 2. Mike is spamming 2s.
I'm spamming 1s.
But I see an awful lot of 1s. An awful lot of 1s. Yeah. Jeff Bartlett said, "I'm not paying attention," but 2. So he took a shot at it, and
oh no, this brought Cecil in.
Hi, baby. Yeah, I'm live, but the camera's off. You want to come down? You need me for something?
What's going on, Cecil?
Be honest.
I want to listen to them argue.
Hold on, we're not arguing. No, I'm saying, do you need anything? And she says, no, which means yes, she does. She just doesn't want to bother me. Hold on, I'll be right back, guys.
When he said hi, baby, I thought he was talking to Cecil.
I thought so too.
What's up, Cecil? It's been forever, man.
Hello. Yeah, I've been working on videos.
Oh yeah.
I've been been knocking out the whole Child's Play series. I'm up to.
So which one's your favorite so far?
Well, number one is an actual excellent horror movie. Everything else is pretty bad up until Bride of Chucky is okay, but I really liked Seed of Chucky. I think people hated it because they didn't realize it's just a total
All right.
comic.
I'm
Right.
back. Let me put on my headphones.
Yeah, that's
All
like
right.
Nightmare on Elm Street. The first one was just a masterpiece, and the rest of them were all jokes.
No, Wes Craven's New Nightmare is a great one.
That's good.
That was just
Yeah,
covering his
that's fair.
tracks.
That's fair.
Cecil's in here. Cecil, hi.
Hello.
Cecil, you look like a giant melanoma.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't have
what's going on with your avatar.
I don't know. Hold on.
Is that just a close-up of your pancake nipple?
There it
Yep.
is.
No,
Yeah.
thank God I have a sticker over my camera. Otherwise, I would have just doxed myself. I didn't realize that was on.
All right, let me read some of these super chats, Cecil.
Go ahead.
Thanks, buddy. Jack Straw says, "Hail Critias and hail Caesar, hero of the LGBTQ plus, the human sunbeam, the peacemaker of CG, and the world's most charming man." Thank you, Jack Straw. Hail
That's
to you
fine.
again. Right back at you. Mike D sent me something, but it looks like it's in Chinese. I can't read it. Cormoran says, "EVS even eats humble pie." Of course I do. Mark C says, "Uncle E, even greatness needs an editor." Captain Klutz says, "Haha, Ethan, you keep pushing their trigger points." Mark C says, "Uncle E, no." Michael Ross says, "Channel idea, Nasser, hot dog chewing ASMR." Nasser, what do you think of that? You want to chew a hot dog?
I've done
I
that
didn't-
before.
Yeah, that
That would be a
came out
start.
wrong. Cormoran says, "Making you delete the tweet is like making a kid write out what they did wrong on the blackboard. It's Twitter treating you like a child." Yeah, you know what
Yep.
the thing about Twitter is that's weird though? Your tweets last forever. Like it's kind of weird. Like tweets should kind of fade away after a little while. Why do you get to go backwards 15 years into someone's Twitter history and look at what they wrote, back in the 1970s? I mean, it's odd.
'Cause that's how the internet works, man.
Yeah, I know, but it's just I don't know. I think it's not good. I think it isn't a great thing.
Right.
I'm leaving my tweets up. I deleted like a handful of tweets when SJW Spider-Man put some up because some of them probably would have gotten me banned. So I went, I'll just delete these. Oh, not just banned, but they would do what they did to Mike. Delete these to come back. And I'm like, all right, I'll just delete them right now.
Right.
The rest of them I leave up. I don't think I've ever said anything. I don't think I've ever said anything on Twitter that I'd be ashamed of or that would paint me as anything other than, the charming human sunbeam that I am. And I do get grouchy sometimes. I will tell people to F off, but I think everybody does. I don't think there's anything like, I think SJW Spider-Man right now is going through all of my videos and he's trying to find evidence that I'm a misogynist, homophobic bigot. And I'm just not. I mean, I'm a bit of a chauvinist, Mike.
That's fine.
I'm
okay with that.
Yeah. Oh, I am too. I'm quite comfortable being a chauvinist.
I'm okay with being a misogynist.
I'm not okay with being a misogynist. I like women.
I don't think Nasser knows what misogynist
Yeah, that means you really hate women. It's a nasty term. I think people who really hate women are effed up.
I think Nasser is a misogynist. Oh
Well, I
wow!
also hate brown
Kyle
people.
Ritter just sent me this. I can't share it because I'm on the other computer, but he just sent me. Remember the Aquaman Mira drawn and quartered piece?
Yeah.
He wanted to color it, so I sent it to him, and it looks freaking rad. I wish I could post it on Twitter.
That's nice, Kyle. You need something to do? I mean, what are you doing? All right, let me read some more of these. Mark C says, "I want Cyberfrog bed sheets." Goddamn Ukulele says, "Any suggestions for an affordable microphone that works on a Mac?" I don't know. I wouldn't. You're asking the wrong guy. I mean, I don't know if this works on a Mac. I'm not sure. But this microphone wasn't that expensive. This setup, I think, might have been $150. So it was nice. It wasn't that big of a, and I'm really happy with it so far.
You should get a backup mic though.
I don't know what I need a backup for.
Didn't your mic go out?
Yeah, but that's because I was wearing a wig and a static shock like put my microphone out.
Okay, so your mic went out, and you needed a backup mic, and you didn't have one. Now you're asking me why you need a backup mic.
I don't want to have bad. I mean,
I do. It's just a cheap little $40 mic.
Yeah,
but it had tied me over until I had to order another whatever.
Yeah. All right, you have a point, Mike.
I usually do.
The Buzz General says, "Miss my dog. Had to rehome him. Bit my daughter."
Mm.
Man, that's rough, man. I got to be honest with you. I don't like dogs. I really don't. I don't like. I'm at this point in my life. I used to love having pets around. When I say I don't like dogs, I mean I don't want one. I like dogs. I just don't want one. I don't want. It's like I had dogs for the longest time, and they rip everything up. They pay. They rip things up. They think that the bed is theirs. The couch is theirs.
Their hair gets everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of people are unsubscribing me now. That's great.
Sounds like my sister describing me.
By the way, Ian Miles Chung flashbanged a dog to death. Mike.
No, he didn't. Did he really?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
All right. So here's what people are saying, Mike. And by the way, they're telling me, the only reason why they're telling me about this is that you invited Ian Miles Chung on my show that last time when he cursed out the whole audience about having doxed, and not only that, but apparently swatted somebody, and he admitted to it.
What is swatting?
Swatting is when you call 911 and you say, "Hey, 911, there's an emergency at Mike S. Miller's house. He is currently in there. He's holding his family hostage at gunpoint, and he's going to kill them. He's been drinking all day. So you say these things. You create this incredibly urgent scenario, and they send a SWAT team in.
That's a thing?
That's a thing. And they send a SWAT team in, and the SWAT team kicks your door open, points guns at you and your family. They have no choice. They
did not legitimately do that to somebody, did he?
That's what they're saying. And what the SWAT team did was I guess the guy who he swatted had a dog, and they threw a grenade at the dog and killed the dog so they could get in the house and save his family.
I don't believe that any more than I believe you're a misogynist.
That sounds like a really wild story.
Yeah.
You guys don't know what swatting is? You've never heard?
I just don't think that he did that to somebody.
He admitted it on the stream that you invited him to. That was the big deal.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did. He went off. He said, I did it, and I don't fucking care. That guy was a
Tim Lim? I need the transcripts.
You were there. I don't understand. And I got in trouble for it.
I don't remember him saying that. I don't remember saying that.
He was going off, and I said, look, I don't know what this is about, but could you knock it off? And then all these people were saying, dude, he was like, I was like, oh, he killed a dog. What? And he was proud of it. It was weird, man. It was weird. He could, I mean, I don't know where he is now. I don't know what he's up to, but yeah, I got hit with that. Like, I'm not paying attention to what's going on in those, with those guys. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, can I invite Ian on and he can explain?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, at this point, I don't think so. I don't want any trouble, It's like, I don't, that's the thing. I don't know who to trust anymore, and I don't want trouble from these people. Awful. Yeah. Awful. How do you do that? How do you kill someone's dog? I'm just saying I don't want a dog because they lay around the house and make a mess. But I love dogs. I want people who love their pets. This guy had to give his dog away because his dog bit his daughter. I mean, that's a Sophie's choice right there. It's not really that you keep your daughter and give the dog away. It's pretty easy, but it is still an awful thing. Awful thing.
Yep.
John Whitfield, thanks for $5. Joseph Diaz, thanks for $5. Cyberfrog, more important than the Lord of the Rings, Call of Cthulhu, and Action Comics #1. Yeah, exactly. Gil Rivera says, great hearing you, EVS. Check out Night Stalker 1 and 2 on Indiegogo. Marine turned vigilante battles the Yakuza, but it starts a bigger war with the mob. Mark C says Mike's Twitter ban is his bad Waringo karma. Mike, agreed.
I'm sending it to Kyle right now.
Mike, are you really?
Oh, you're gonna curse Kyle too.
Are you gonna pay Kyle what I pay him? Kyle, if he's not paying you.
Kyle wanted to do the Aquaman for free, so.
Oh my God, Kyle.
He just sometimes artists like doing things for fun.
So what are you gonna draw for fun for me?
Did you guys hear something? Buzzing noise.
Mike Jenkins says, Uncle E, Kenny Rogers or Kenny Loggins? Kenny Rogers, because the island's in the stream. But I do like Kenny Loggins too, even though he's depressing as hell in the 70s. In the 80s, he lightened up a little bit. I really like the song Meet Me Halfway Across the Sky. I really like that. I extended that offer to John Delarose. I said, John Delarose, meet me halfway across the sky. And he said, okay. You know?
Were you telling him, like, you're on the ground and, like, he's in a plane and you're like, hey, meet me halfway?
No, I didn't mean I didn't mean a threat by that. I meant, what I was trying to say was that's where the world belongs to only you and I. Wonder Girl 60 says, as much as I adore Mike S, I think your screen is locked on him. I fixed it. Don't worry, Wonder Girl. As soon as you said that, I was like, oh shit. I fixed it. Arthur Bear Brown, the Uncanny Kodiak, says, I'm having to teach myself and draw a shite ton of motorcycles for my book. It's such a pain. I feel like a kindergartner again. Should I lightbox some? No. Don't take the easy way out. Learn how to draw motorcycles. Break them down to their component parts. Use reference, obviously. But learn how to draw a motorcycle.
Yeah, Fonzie put his together with blind while he's blind. I don't know if you remember that.
Professor Geek says, invite me on sometime. I only flashbanged at Gerbil. Did you guys see this guy who was making underwater hamster habit trails?
No.
Well, he had a vision. Medicare just did a video about this guy. He's been working on this since 2010. He realized that with pollution and the environment the way it is, eventually we're all going to have to live on another planet. Or we are going to have to live in the ocean, so underwater. So he is developing a hamster. It is a underwater hamster world. Now he's got fish tanks in his house, and there are hamster habit trails submerged underwater. He's got oxygen pumping in there at all times. His goal is to let hamsters live underwater. Now, if
how high was he?
Listen, this guy is this is an important man doing experiments to see if hamsters can live underwater. I don't know if that's
Nasser did something similar. He drowned some cats in his bathtub.
That could be a great like underground hideout for the adolescent. What was those adolescent like the
adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters? By the way,
yeah.
Mike, do you want to draw that crossover or no? You're gonna be too busy doing your own stuff.
I'm hopefully gonna be too busy drawing my own stuff.
All right, it's not until next year, but it's something to think about. You don't have to. It's Cyberfrog hamsters crossover. I can find another artist. I was gonna invite Tim Lim to do it.
I would like to see that.
It would be perfect if Tim Lim drew it, But then
Tim Lim, get the fuck out of here with him.
Yes, some unpleasantness happened.
This is the second Tim Lim reference in this stream. We're gonna get attacked.
Yeah, Trevor Wright says, Mike, I would like a drawing of 90s Rogue for free. Thanks, buddy.
You got to do it now, Mike.
I have one of those.
Do you really?
Yeah, we did it on Drawn and Quartered, which is tonight, by the way.
I won't be there. I'm going to be on Sweetcast.
Oh.
Got an interview with them. Probably, yeah.
90s Rogue. You can't have it.
Why can't you have it?
Because I got to use it for like bonus things and stuff.
Mike D says, I like this podcast. Thanks, Mike D. Appreciate it. Yeah, bonus things for what? To give away to people?
Well, yeah, and I'm doing the Friday night auctions now, and so sometimes I sweeten whatever the auction is with various things, or I'll send if someone buys like something for way more than it's worth, I'll throw extra stuff in his package, or bonus stuff.
Yeah.
Friday night auctions, people, be there.
Mike is a hustler.
How do they do, Mike? Are you making money at these auctions?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because it's like some pages will go. It's freaking auctions, you know. Some things go for more than you think they would. Some things go for less than you think they would. But oh my god, way better than heritage auctions, right?
What
better
did you make money
heritage
with?
auctions?
What do you make with the auctions, or that rip-off deal you made for yourself with the mag?
Yeah, I did get the Meg money, so I've been paying everybody, and I've been paying my mortgage, and I'm getting all the crap for shipping. So I have a whole bunch of crap coming in, dude. I have 1,500 pounds worth of comics coming in tomorrow.
Are they coming in tomorrow?
Yeah.
I hope I backed you. I did. I backed you twice.
You did back me. You did.
I backed you twice, dude. I think, and
Yeah, you backed me secretly one time to get me over a hump on a live stream.
Who loves you, baby?
You love me, baby.
Yeah. Mark C says, EVS, you need to use the preteen Dirty Jean Kung Fu Kangaroos. Do you remember them?
No, that sounds great though.
Yeah, that was like a 5th tier spinoff of rip off of the Turtles. You know, preteen Dirty Jean.
Yeah, the Kangaroos are like legitimately badass.
Yeah. I guess they're Australians. Australians are all badass. Australians are badass. So they're all really good-looking people,
including Tom Taylor.
No.
Just don't let them know you're a tourist in Australia. You disappear.
Really?
They got like a reputation for tourists going missing or civilians going missing.
I went there, man. I went to Australia, and I took my son to the beach, and it was a nude beach. I didn't even know that. He's like, I just see him, like his eyes are wide, and I'm like,
strip down?
No, you didn't have to be. You didn't have to be naked, but like there was nudity on the beach, and yeah, beautiful women, like just naked on the beach, and I was like, wow, man, Australia's hip.
How old was your son?
Like 10. You know, it wasn't bad. It didn't do him any harm. You know,
what a birthday present.
Daddy, what's wrong with your pants?
Of course, I did not stare. These women want their privacy. But of course, man, Australians are beautiful people. They, you look at them. I mean, Nicole Kidman was a beautiful woman. I can't think anymore.
Margot Robbie.
Oh yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Naomi
Watts.
My sister-in-law was Australian, and no, it's not ubiquitous.
I don't know.
Kylie
Minogue, thank you. Another one. Beautiful women.
Elle Macpherson, of course.
Elle Macpherson.
Newton-John.
Just banging him out.
Yeah.
Cecil agrees with me. Cecil's here to back up my points.
Cecil's on Google.
That's probably true.
He just looked up hottest Australian women.
That is absolutely not true. My memory is starting to come back. I'm usually only good like that when I'm drunk, but I'm actually starting to pull shit out of my head while I'm sober now too.
It's good to be sober.
2 more days, then I'm back. My superpower comes back.
Yeah, today's the 3rd. I gotta pay my rent. I sent a rent check out. Yeah, 2 more days of the month of January. We're already through January, guys. We're already through January. Yeah, I'm buying a house this year, guys.
Nice.
I'm doing it. Wanted to buy this house, but the guy was like, I'd like to rent it to you for another year. I said,
I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, that's too much. So we're going to buy a house. I think and the thing about it is that I think he wants to give it as a gift to his daughter. He's like, my daughter was born there. Just sell me your house.
People get
Your daughter can visit.
properties, and they wreck themselves with sentimentality.
Yeah. Like this house here is it's in a beautiful neighborhood, prime location. Like I honestly, I don't like the house very much. I just like where it is, and we could fix it up, you know. But yeah, the guy's kind of like, yeah. Let me think about it some more. And in the meantime, you know, the rent, money just flying out the window. Fuck it, let's buy a house this year. You know, let's do it.
That's some
I agree with
equity.
you.
I have a perfect living situation, so I don't need to buy a house.
I want one with it. I said the one thing I want, the one good thing about this house is this basement. Like I'm so in love with my studio. I love it down here.
Oh, you want to get inspired? By the way, on Sci-Fi Channel on YouTube just put up an extended interview with John Byrne, and he tours his whole basement too. Like he's got a huge collection.
Really?
Yeah, they just put it up just like an hour ago.
I saw that.
You saw it? It was put up today, right?
Well, no, there was some of it put up yesterday on YouTube.
Okay. It's good. He has like an extensive art collection and statues. He's definitely a collector, so he's got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, and Mike, he doesn't ruin Mike Waringo pieces like you do.
I'm shocked that Mike did that, by the way. I didn't want to say anything. Nasser has no filter. You know, Nasser will just go ahead and say what everyone's thinking, but nobody wants to say to be mean. Nasser doesn't care, you know.
Hey, Nasser. No. Let me do this to you, Nasser. So I was originally lightboxing it, right? And then John Malin convinced me to do it on the original.
Ouch. That hurts.
Wow.
What are you gonna do with that information, Nasser? Implode.
I'll have to talk it over with Malin.
Does not compute. Does not compute.
Smoke is coming out of his ears.
I gotta get Malin's side of this. For all I know, Mike could be lying right now.
It's all on film. It's all on YouTube.
By the way, Comic Artist Pro Secrets is now the biggest Comicsgate YouTube channel.
Yeah, boy.
That's cool.
We passed the channel formerly known as Diversity in Comics yesterday.
95,000, brother. Congratulations.
Now we got to get me up there. Everyone sub to me, please.
Yeah. It's pretty great. I had a long conversation with Zack last night. Oh, such good stuff. He told me such good stuff, man. You guys are gonna be happy. But long conversation with him, and he's just like, I'm like, dude, we're tied right now. Our channels are tied. He's like, I'm surprised you're not way past me. I'm like, see what you say things like that, and it makes me feel bad. Like, right. Like people who say, you know, it's like if I were to say Cyberfrog is the most important book of the last 100 years, and people say, yeah, not 103 years though. Like, God, you're right. Like that stuff makes me feel bad. That's how to break me down a little bit. But yeah, this is good news. I love Comicsgate. I think that for Zack, my feeling about Zack and Comicsgate is that like he fell into this, he led it, and it just became like the worst thing for him. You know, it just became a thing that was like a constant fight.
He's crying all the way to the bank.
Well, I don't think it's been that profitable for him at all. I think, you know, he's used his money to produce comic books, and he's in the middle of a big lawsuit. But yeah, I just
Mike just sees the money.
Yeah. But I don't think it's that for him. I don't think it's that profitable. I think it really has been war for him, just war. And I'm just like I think he would like Comicsgate, like the whole problem to just end. It's going to end. It's going to end because the comic book industry is going to cease to exist.
Right.
Yeah, but the NPCs will always be out there.
But this is going to be a new empire. CG is the new empire.
Yeah.
Yeah, another comic book store closed in Manhattan. St. Mark's Comics.
Yeah, it's going to keep going. This year is going to be really bad. I think the comic book industry ends in 5 years. That's what I think. I think the printed comic book, and people are like, yeah, but there's always going to be digital. 2 years? 2 years would be amazing. A lot of bad things. But there's always going to be digital comics. Yeah, digital comics are not doing well. They're just not doing well. Digital isn't really a thing for comics. People might go back and read back issues digitally, but when it comes to new stuff, I just don't think people are doing that. I think people do prefer to buy and own and hold comic books.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing. That's an important thing for people.
Well, anytime I get a digital comic, I just forget I even have it.
Yeah, I have some digital comics that I bought, and I deleted them off my iBooks because I'm just like, most of them were mine.
Do you know Stan Lee's quote about digital comics?
What did he say?
He said, comics are like boobs. It's nice to look at them on a screen, but you want to hold it in your hand.
That's brilliant. I think that's true.
Yeah, you want to smell them.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, people are just quitting. People are walking away from comics, Hey, you have to deal with this stuff. This stuff that goes on Twitter, I mean, it's unpleasant. These people, their attitudes are unpleasant. The comic book industry just seems slimy. And people are walking away. And then, look at DC Comics at this point, like just layoffs. Marvel Comics is in for a bad year, too. I think Marvel Comics, there are those rumors that Marvel is going to have to change locations this year. And when if that's the case, if Marvel, if their lease is up in Manhattan and they do try to move out west,
are they still at 387 Park Avenue South? I
don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. Could you do that research and find out where they're at? Yeah. I've known Marvel to be at 3 different locations just in the time that I have been working in comics. I don't know where they are now.
Yeah, I haven't mailed anything to them in forever.
So, yeah. So if they do decide that they're going to move out west, we're talking massive layoffs, and I'm going to laugh because, well, I'm not going to laugh because they probably won't lay off the people that deserve to be laid off. Tom Brevoort will go with them.
It says it's 135 West 50th Street, New York.
Oh yeah, they must have moved a long time ago.
They moved again. Yeah, I was there when Joe Quesada first took over Marvel, and I got a job drawing new X-Men back in 2002. I went to their office, man. Whew. It was a hellhole. It looked like it used to be like a nail salon.
What?
And it was just a mess, dude. There was there was filth and dirt on the floor. It was.
I want to hear that. I always pictured it as the coolest place in the world.
No, DC Comics is cool.
There's a video. I think it was Sergio Cariello took an old VHS camera and did a walk around of Marvel like the day he was leaving or something like that. And yeah, it just looks like someplace you wouldn't want to have to go every day.
Grimy. Yeah, I went there. They had me come down, and I was just like, and I was so used to DC, which is immaculate. Like DC's New York offices look like a doctor's office. I mean, it was just like, it was clean. It was like hospital clean. And
are they at the Warner Center? Is that where they are? Like by Central Park?
DC used to be right across the street from the David Letterman show.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, you could literally look out of the office of Dan DiDio, and you'd be looking down on that famous sign, the Ed McMahon Studio, like The Late Show with David Letterman.
57th Street over there, 56th Street.
54th and 25th, 54th Street and Broadway.
And Broadway,
yeah. So that's where DC used to be, and they used to invite us to watch the parade, the Thanksgiving Day parade from the DC office, which was a thing. It was a really cool thing. But now they're out west because, of course, like comics are slowly kind of receding into Hollywood. That's what there is.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to die too, guys. We're the comic industry. We're supposed to die with the comic book industry, I guess. It's weird. It's like we're being dragged to hell with these people. You're coming with us.
Well, it's a possibility, right? Because I mean, the more fan base they lose, the more they come flooding towards our books.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, we don't really, all we need are our own fans. Like, we don't need their audience too much. We just need our own audiences. And, I've said this over and over again. It's important to build up your own fan base and to you know, I don't know, to market to them. You don't have to market, like, we're not chasing after their customers. I'm sure there's a lot of crossover, but I mean, we just chase our own customers. We don't need them. Like, they can actually just disappear. And what do you think? Like, people still wouldn't buy our comic books? Marvel and DC go away. Do you think people will stop buying Cyberfrog and Lone Star?
Right.
No, they'll just do even better.
Yeah, of course. More people will come this way. I could sell a comic book to anyone as long as it looks good. You know?
Hey, Ethan, is it cool if I plug something?
Yeah, plug your mouth.
Yeah, go ahead and answer.
Yeah, I'm putting
Right,
the link in the description.
All right, let me share my screen. All right, this is my buddies Ian and Joey. This is their Indiegogo. They're really close to 50% of their goal. It's a small goal. I know we could get them there. I'm sick and sound terrible, so I'm not going to read all this, but I'm just going to read their sentence pitch up here. It says, the infamous boogeyman attempts to craft his own... You're killing me. You're killing me, Mike. It says, the infamous boogeyman attempts to craft his own world from the imaginations of helpless children. I just wanted to give them a push because it's a small goal and they're almost halfway there.
Well, these people, I wish I could help, man. I wish I could help with these guys. I'm not. I don't want to do any telethons or anything like that until Rainbow Brute. I don't know.
I feel you, but it's a very cheap selling price. It's $20 for all 3 issues and $15 for them on newsprint. So if anybody's interested in this book, it's a fantastic art, fun story.
I had them on before.
Yeah,
I did, Nasser. I had them on. I promoted them.
I remember.
All right, just so you know, I take care of your friends, Nasser.
Thanks, Uncle E.
Kiss the ring, Nasser. We
love you.
You don't kiss any ring, Mike. Let's see. Gus, pay Cecil enough so that he can buy a house, says Crazy Maynard. Oh, I wanted to ask about that. Where did the Gus thing come from? What is that? What does that mean?
Oh, I was opening from letters from my PO box on one of my videos, and the person was referring to you, and they wrote EVS, but I thought it said Gus, so I kept.
Oh.
I kept thinking, it's like they were like, I really like the way you and Gus get along, and I'm like, who the fuck is Gus? And I didn't realize it until and it was Frank Stallone who sent that, by the way, and he sent me $60 cash too.
How about that?
And I made the theme music for that video, Frank Stallone.
Nice, yeah. Well, I got to open up my P.O. box. A lot of people are asking me to do that. I might do that today. I might go open up a P.O. box today.
And I have a lot in common with Frank Stallone because I'm the least talented sibling in my family, too.
I doubt that. Unless your siblings are extremely talented.
Well, my sister's a surgeon.
Oh, yeah. All right. Fuck it. Mike Jenkins says, I'm in my winter house in Jamaica. E, come on down. Really? I'll come on down. I'll go to Jamaica. Tyler Preston says, you hear about the allegations against Vic Mignogna? Yeah, I did. I heard about, I haven't read anything about it. Vic is a voice actor for anime, kind of animated stuff. And I don't know if he does things other than anime, but he's always at conventions. Like any comic book convention that has voice actors, Vic is there. I've seen him. I was in an elevator with him. Like, he dresses like a rock star. He's just Mr. Cool. I don't care about voice actors. I never introduced myself to him. But I've always seen him around. I've always seen him on guest lists. And yeah, the allegations against him, there are some. I don't know what they are, though. Hold on, let me look. I think Andrea was telling me about this, too. Vic Mignogna. Allegations. I'll actually Google search allegations and see if they come up. Are you interested in this, Mike, or no?
I guess got mute. Is that the guy from the Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah. Should I read a left wing? Yeah, he is Dragon Ball Z. I'm I'm gonna read a Polygon article about this.
Okay,
You know what I
Ethan.
mean? Like, why read a Bounding into Comics article? Like, I'll read something that's gonna be harsh on him. Dragon Ball Super. Broly voice actor responds to sexual harassment, homophobia claims. Though lots of allegations began to surface recently, some go as far back as 2010. That's when Twitter came about, really. Anime dub voice actor Vic Mignogna, best known for his work on Full Metal Alchemist, is facing serious claims of sexual harassment and homophobia. He released a statement earlier this week on Twitter responding to accusations of misconduct that started to surface on social media after the premiere of Dragon Ball Super Broly, in which he voices the title character. In the statement, Mignola refutes the homophobia allegations outright, stating that some of his dear friends are members of the LGBTQ community. While several fans alleged online that he refused to sign Yao fan art, I don't know what that means, often romantic images featuring two male characters. Oh, now I do. He suggested that he did not want to sign non-canon material in general. He also disputes a serious claim about his supposed anti-Semitic behavior, arguing that a joke he made about the Holocaust was a poor choice of words. Here's a quote. Someone pointed me to a moment years ago where I was in a panel and referred to a bunch of noise coming from another room, jokingly as a Holocaust, he said. As I said then, I think he meant cacophony. As I said then, it was a metaphor. Could I have chosen a different word? Sure. In retrospect, I could have, he says. Okay. And of course, I'm sorry that it offended anyone. Did he mean cacophony?
Yeah, that doesn't count as anti-Semitic behavior.
I don't. Holocaust, by the way, Holocaust is a word. There's the Holocaust, which is in capital letters, I would think. Wouldn't it be? Like the Holocaust would be capital H. And then there's a zombie Holocaust, which would be an H. Holocaust is a word. It wasn't just invented for, World War II. It's an actual word. You shouldn't use it anymore, I guess, in reference to anything other than the actual Holocaust. Finally, he apologized for making fans uncomfortable with physical contact, Jesus, including unsolicited hugs and kisses. Damn it, I've said this a million times. Cecil, I'm against physical contact with fans.
A little dry humping is fine, I'm sure.
No, not even that. I've always said there's sometimes I would go to conventions and people would be telling me extremely personal things, and I felt like it was to extract a hug from me. Now, this is when I was a much more, nowadays, if you want a hug, just ask for one. I'll give you a hug. But then I was like, these people, stop telling me awful things that happened to you. And I'd watch other creators go, oh my God, and get up and give them hugs, and stuff. And I'd be like, Jesus. So very strange kind of Dr. Phil sort of thing that's going on at comic book conventions.
What would you hear? What type of things would they tell you?
I don't want to even talk about it. Like,
Come on, we want to know now, Ethan.
No. But it would just be like, I told Gail Simone this, and this pissed Gail off. I said, Gail, I don't know why you do this. When you respond to people the way that you do, you are inciting more people asking you to have a moment with them. What do you mean, Ethan? These people come up to you and they tell you intensely personal things. You're just somebody who wrote a comic book they liked. Tell you intensely personal things so that, they'll cry and hug you at comic book conventions. It just seems like a little cultish to me. Seems a little cult leader to me. Seems a little weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
People trying to have a moment with you, an emotional moment, a connection with you. And it's a lot when you're just sitting there going, hey, I'm just a person who drew comic books or wrote comic books, and I'm here to sign your comics. You tell me how much that you like them. That's all I really am hoping for. But when people come at you one after another and tell you about awful personal tragedies, it's a lot to shoulder. It's a lot to shoulder from behind a table with a magic marker in your hand. It's a lot. And so, Vic evidently here is somebody who actually has physical contact with fans.
He's a hugger.
Yeah, I've always been against that. I've always just been like, it just seems like not a great thing.
Greg Capullo hugged me.
Did he really?
Yeah, it was my first con, and he was one of the first people I met, and I was like, I really loved his Batman run with Snyder, so I was like, Greg, it's so cool to meet you. This is my first con, and I told him I was nervous to meet all these people I liked, because he was there, and Claremont was there, and a bunch of other people I looked up to. And he's like, "Come on, let's get the nerves out." He just stood up, reached over, and hugged me.
Yeah, he's like that. Greg's intensely physical too. And look, here's the thing.
Can you show us on the action figure where he touched you?
I'm gonna have a consent form ready for my next convention. I'm all for, like, I've changed that argument that I gave to Gail, where I said these people are trying to have a moment with you, and I think it's inappropriate. I've changed my mind about that. I'm just gonna have a consent form. So if you do want to hug, first of all, don't tell me bad things. Tell me good things, and then just say, "Can I have a hug?" And I'll say, "Yeah." Now, if you say, "Can I? Will you squeeze my ass?" I will say no. If they say, "Can I squeeze yours?" I will say no. If they say, "Can I kiss your nose?" I will say yes.
There's only one comic creator that I ever would even want to hug.
What? Who?
Nasser.
Yeah. Nasser deserves a hug.
No, can I change it to Richard C. Meyer? Because I kind of freak him out. And I think if he thought that I wanted to hug him, it would bother him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to think about these things, because this is what happens. All right, so he says, this was the most common type of allegation that surfaced on Twitter earlier this month when Broly hit theaters. He says, never in a million years would it be my intent to make anyone feel uncomfortable, he said. Rather, hugging fans was meant to show gratitude or support. I come from an affectionately expressive family where such displays are commonplace. Yeah, with your family, dude. But I understand that not everyone feels this way. Mignogna says he will stop his physical interactions with fans as a result. His full statement can be found below. And here is the statement that he released. I'm gonna read the statement that he released. A lot of people are interested in working out the limitations of physical contact between themselves and Comicsgate. Some people are saying they don't want to hug me, but they do want to hug Cecil. Another person says,
but I no hugs from me, but I will motorboat.
Motorboat. Well, when you put that out there, I think that's a fair thing to put out there. If you say, look, ladies, just ladies, right? I mean,
yeah.
Okay. Ladies, and Cecil saying he will motorboat you, with consent, with your consent.
Of course.
Yeah, you put that out there, and then when we do our Comicsgate conventions, if that comes to be, that comes to be. Like, you've actually established your own boundaries. You're saying, I will not hug. I will place my face between your breasts, and I will go like that. Yeah. What
if they identify as female?
I ask people to just respect my boundaries. That's all.
Right. Just respect your wishes. That's like, you're like, look, these are my limitations, right? So,
yeah.
Okay. A lot of people making the noise. They're saying shh, and then somebody says his brr. They're trying to, and then Retrographic Books goes brr. Yeah, it's hard to come up with the noise, like to write that out phonetically. Brr, like, yeah, a lot of B's, I guess, right? How do you write that phonetically? Is that BR or BL? BL. I'd say it's BL. It sounds more like BL.
It's coming out of my throat as a BR.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Somebody else. Christian Drew Jett says BR.
I'm in an office right now.
People are asking if they can motorboat you. That's a
Oh,
good
hell
question. Yeah, they can. All right. So you're basically saying you can do whatever you want to me, but there are only certain things that I'll do to you.
Right.
That's odd. That's kind of weird. You know?
I like.
All right, let me read some more of these. Well, I'll get back to Vic in a minute because I want to read his statement about all this. This is tragic. As Mark C says, as for the saving of the comic industry, our best bet will be going the European model of publishing 2 to 3 times a year hardcovers per character. I agree. Lord Dankington says, how about a non-sexual massage? Then an F and the A. I like the first part, and then it gets weird at the end. An F and the A is not what most people are looking for. Leon Garnett says, I'll hug the stuffing out of every one of you guys.
Please, it'll be the first human I touch all year.
Yeah, it's just these are threats of assault, I mean, coming common. All right, let me read this statement. Mike, are you there? What are you doing? Why are you muted?
He's crying.
Mike, why are you in here just to mute yourself? God.
Kick Mike? Wait, he's in the chat. He's posting links in the chat.
He is using I'm kicking him. He's not working. He's not working on the show. He's using my audience to spam out links to his son's channel. Mike, you're kicked. Goodbye.
Chat want Kelsey.
The absolute balls. All I'm asking you to do is participate. You can be in here if you want, but when I ask you a question, you have to answer it, Mike.
Now wait a
Put it
minute.
on the show. Cecil, am I out of line?
No, I think it's ridiculous to come on and just promote your stuff. Did anybody see the last Chucky video I did, by the way?
Yeah, that was good. You want to put your link to that in there?
Put the link.
Yeah. No, Mike, you come on my show and talk. You can say whatever you can spam out links to your kid, but don't mute yourself and then not work. This is
I think Ethan, a lot of the people are just confused because they heard the kick sound, but Nasser is still on.
I know it's not when Nasser's working. Nasser's here working hard. He's talking, he's promoting his friend's project, but he's making jokes, he's being funny, he's being Nasser, That's all I ask.
Right.
And he's still out there in the chat spamming out links.
Take away his wrench. And then give me one, please.
Should I take away his wrench?
No, his son's video was
I'll take a wrench instead.
Noir24 says EVS is bullying Mike. I disagree with that assessment of what's going on here. I do not think I have bullied Mike. I think Mike is on my show. He's exploiting my show for the sake of spamming out links to this audience when he's not doing any work. And he should be doing some work in here for me. I mean, it's a fair exchange. When I go on his show, what do? Do I spam out? I don't even talk about myself. When I'm on Mike's show, I sit there and read Nasser's stupid stories. I work.
You want to read a new one on this channel?
No. That's something I do for Mike. I do that from Mike's show to help Mike out. And this is what I get in return. F in the A. I get a non-sexual massage and then an F in the A, Lord Nankington. Mark C says, more bad Ringo karma for Mike. Well, that's what it is. Ro Kabir Kumar's in the chat. He breaks it all down. He just says, Mike, we need a circus. You can't just eat the free bread, brother. That's it.
Mike's in the chat. He says the plumber is here to clear the kitchen sink.
Is that a threat? I mean, what does he mean by that? All right, hold on. Let me read this statement from Vic Mignogna.
It sounds like he's getting laid.
Oh, yeah. All right, look. Vic Mignogna, who has been accused of homophobia.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Vic Mignogna, who has been accused of homophobia, sexual assault, and anti-Semitism. because he used the word Holocaust to describe noise. Oh God, they're just out there. These SJWs are out there. Just they want to fight. You know, they're looking for any excuse to attack people. They're looking for any excuse to bring people down and make people miserable. SJWs. So he says this. He says, "This is heartbreaking." Should I use a soy voice for this or no? Is this soy or not? It's not soy, is it?
Hey, EBS, a question, right?
Yeah.
So if you farted next to SJW, would they say you was imitating the gas chamber?
Oh, I don't know. That's not necessary. I'm kicking Critias.
No.
Kicking Critias. All right. This is heartbreaking. Over the last few days, a number of comments and allegations have been voiced on social media. I'd like to share my thoughts. By the way, never do this. Never do this. Homophobic? No, he says in all caps. Never do this either. Some of my dearest friends. They're waiting for stuff like this. Some of my dearest friends are members of the LGBTQ community. That's just the wrong thing to say. It's just the wrong thing to say. Including several that I brought into my production family on Star Trek Continues. I don't know what that is. This is a blatantly false statement. I said many years ago that I didn't think a particular character I voiced was gay, contrary to what some fans believed. Not because it matters to me at all, but because I was told this was the case. I also elected not to autograph Yao, not because I am homophobic, but because I didn't wish to sign material that was not canon. Anti-Semitic. I like that he takes the accusations, and homophobic has one question mark, and then anti-Semitic 2 question marks. I couldn't even grasp where this was coming from until someone pointed me to a moment years ago when I was in a panel and referred to a bunch of noise coming from another room as a Holocaust. As I said then, it was a metaphor for Armageddon, death, and mass destruction, but not the Holocaust. Could I have chosen a different word? Sure, in retrospect, I could have. And of course, I'm sorry that it offended anyone. I think I'm a better voice actor than Vic.
Yeah.
I do.
Do Saturn Android for the Cyberfrog anime. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, as I read his words, I realize, yeah, I'm a really good voice actor. Jiminy Cricket says, no, you're not.
Bad Jiminy.
All right, let me keep reading. I'll try harder then, Jiminy. All right, let me hit you with this. You tell me if this is good voice acting or not. All right. I sincerely apologize to any convention staff member who ever felt I was anything less than kind and grateful to be included in their event. Unknown to most staffers, contractual arrangements made in advance with cons were occasionally not honored when I arrived, and that made me frustrated. Boy, he's all over the place. That does not excuse making anyone feel badly, and I am deeply sorry. Let me check with the chat. Was it better? Terrible, they're saying.
Kind of sounded like Stan Lee for a second.
You sound like Mike Zero. Sounds like a plank of wood. No to Jersey. Now you're talking like Doomcock. All right. I'll try again. Jesus. 2 more paragraphs. Let me try.
Take 2.
I would also like to sincerely apologize to anyone who ever felt my interaction with them. A hug or kiss on the cheek or forehead was crossing a line. Never in a million years would it be my intent to make anyone feel uncomfortable. Rather, it was meant to show gratitude or support. I come from an affectionately expressive family where such displays are commonplace, but I understand that not everyone feels this way. Hence, I will not be interacting in the same way with fans in the future. Understand, this is the climate we live in, and this is how it has to be. To my fans who ask me for hugs, etc., I'm sorry, but please know I'm no less grateful to or supportive of you. How was that? Seinfeld, they're saying. Shudders. Shinto Ketchup says inexplicably excited. Kip from Napoleon Dynamite says Gonzo the Great. Oh, I could try something else. Yeah.
What if he shows up at the next convention in like a suit of armor, and that's the only way he'll hug people?
That's not a bad idea. Captain Klutz says first Twitter kicks Mike and now you, and then he's laughing emoji. All right, so let me try again.
Can you try like a deep voice?
I did a deep voice. I did kind of whatever the thing was that I just did. I mean, how do I approach this last paragraph here?
Try to do that soy voice you do when you read the articles.
No, with solemn sincerity.
Solemn sincerity. Finally, any allegations of sexual harassment, sexual assault, or most disturbingly, pedophilia are completely and utterly false. My heart weeps for anyone who endures a violation of this kind. So to be accused of harming others in this way, I have no words. Sincerely, Vic Mignogna.
I like to
He was
close
accused
out.
of pedophilia. Just hit you with everything, dude.
I'm trying to think what haven't they accused him of? He got sexual harassment, pedophilia.
What did he do?
He got a murder rap.
I hate these SJWs so much. Like, I really do. The thing about this is I've been through it, not to this extent. Maybe more. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't feel sorry for myself, but I've been through it. So I almost have gallows humor about it right now. Watching this guy apologize. First of all, when they call you homophobic and anti-Semitic and whatever it is, they don't mean it. They don't. They're parrots in a cage that need a wooden block to chew up. They don't mean it. None of these people actually think any of this thing. They're just they need to destroy someone, and they picked you.
Mm-hmm.
Is anyone pressing charges, or are these just allegations to destroy him?
I don't know. I would assume nobody is pressing charges because that would be, I'd see pictures of him in handcuffs.
Since in 2014, they try to press they try to press charges on him. I think they were dropped.
Yeah. In 2014, they tried to press charges.
I think so. Something about allegations being dropped in 2014.
Let me see about that. Polygon should have something like that up. Polygon's very reputable, Many convention goers' stories continue to come out in social media, detailing times when the actor acted flirtatiously towards them, fondling, kissing, groping. I'm so glad there's nothing like this about me out there. I'm positive. I behave myself. I don't do this without their consent. Most while they were still underage. Jesus. While these allegations are only just picking up steam, many of them go as far back as 2010. In addition to the sexual harassment claims, Mignogna's alleged homophobic behavior remains a concern with anime fans. While he said he refused to sign fan art in general, convention goers argue that he would only deny signing pictures depicting characters in gay relationships, even if the art wasn't sexually explicit, while he was happy signing other fan art. Organizers at conventions, meanwhile, shared stories of unprofessional behavior, such as overstaying his panel time and yelling at staffers. As more leaked stories surface, the hashtag KickVic, look up hashtag KickVic, started to circulate on Twitter. Leaked screenshots revealed that Mignogna took to the Discord for his private fan club, the Risen Bull Rangers, last Saturday to encourage his fans to counter the accusations. The hashtag #IStandWithVic rose in response. When Polygon reached out to Funimation, which distributes Dragon Ball Super Broly, and used to license Full Metal Alchemist, the company declined to comment on the allegations. That's from Polygon.
The most shocking thing about this is that this guy never worked for Marvel or DC.
Yeah, all of this, it's always the same. I really do need to make a video that depicts their playbook. Like, if you come under attack from SJWs, it's always exactly the same. Like what he's going through now and his response to it and the articles and everything, it's me two years ago. You know, it's like I've been through this already. And what can you say? Kiss your career goodbye. It's going bye-bye. They've targeted you. And, you know, your only choice at this point is to fight. It's to fight back or disappear.
I looked up the hashtag. I think this one's a lie from Red Nat that said, I watched with my own eyes Vic, I don't know how to say his name, make out with a 14-year-old fangirl at his booth. She admired him and he took advantage of her. This has to be a lie.
Wait, the guy's making out with 14-year-old in the middle of a convention floor. Get the fuck out of here.
Right. Look,
Was it a kissing booth?
They said at the time I was shocked and didn't want to believe what I was seeing. I loved FMA and other work.
All right, hold on a second. Back up. The question is it true? Now, if that's true, that's R. Kelly.
Right.
Are they making this? Is that true? So we can't just laugh off allegations like that. Is he making out with 14-year-olds at his convention booth?
At his booth in the convention center, in a day and age where every single person is walking around with a theater in their hands and can record everything, and you're telling me this guy's making out with 14-year-olds at his booth? I can. Okay. Well, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I think that could happen. Really?
Yeah, I do. I think
this guy's out of his mind. If he's
first of all, let's parse the words. Like when you're saying "make out with," like those are words that might be hyperbole. But do I think it's possible that he assaulted a 14-year-old at his booth? Yeah, it's possible. You know, it's possible. Conventions are weird, man. They're full of weirdos.
Mm-hmm.
I think I used to go to conventions every single weekend. I've been in elevators, like I said, with Vic. I've seen him around.
You ever tried it?
Yeah, he grabbed my ass once. You know,
it's like, ooh, round.
Asked me if I was Jewish. I said no. He said
good. Just to get a hug out of me.
Oh, awful, man. Well, who knows? I don't care. I'm not. You know, you can't. I want to rise to defend everyone. But look at where that got me with Dave Sim.
Lou illustration in the chat says Vic at convention always has huge lines, and they said if that happened, people would be freaking out. Like this guy's making out with a 14-year-old while there's a giant line of people waiting.
Well, again, you want to parse. You want to look carefully at the word "making out," and you want to question that. Did he smooch a 14-year-old?
Making out is not a kiss on the cheek. Making out is,
yeah,
10 seconds on the mouth.
Yeah. Why is Bounding Into Comics talking about me right now? Let me see this.
Right, and when you make out, it takes more than a few seconds.
Yeah, like it's something. It is all right. Benjamin Henderson and John Delarose accept Renfamous's challenge to debate. What is this? On Tuesday night, Twitter troublemaker Renfamous challenged members of Comicsgate to an in-person debate, which was subsequently accepted by Benjamin Henderson. Renfamous says, "My channel is real life. I'll debate in person, on a panel, at a con, where you tools have to make eye contact with me. Oof. And won't have Google and a chat full of slur-screaming idiots to back you up. Any takers?" Gateway into Comics goes, "We'll even go on your channel to debate, Ren." Henderson responded to Renfamous with an idea on how the debate would be constructed with 3 people on each side tops. He also indicated that individuals could donate to the Legal Defense Fund to protect people from online threats. Hang on a second. I just had to hit an ad and make it go away, and now it lost my place. Online threats. Henderson even indicated he would want John Delarose and Ethan Van Sciver to join him in debating Renfamous and her team. "I'm down," says Ben Henderson. "We can think of good questions and discuss ways to bring all sides together. Maybe just 3 people on each side tops. At the end, we can ask people to donate to Legal Defense Fund to protect people from online threats. I want Ethan Van Sciver and John Delarose to join me." Flying Sparks creator John Delarose was quick to accept the challenge following Henderson. Henderson, why is making eye contact important? She gonna cry when she starts losing and make you all feel bad? Says Donald DeLay. Benjamin L. Henderson says, I like debating in person too. I want them on tape with people around and our families in the audience to say things they say to us online. Let's let people see and have people ask them to explain the death threats and stalking by their SJW allies against vets and Christians. Van Sciver would respond in a series of tweets claiming Renfamous and fellow Twitter user SJW Spider-Man would never debate him. And here's what I said. SJW Spider-Man and Renfamous will never debate me or anyone. They exist to lie and propagandize. They exist to harass and persecute people who see through their lies. They exist to entertain the worst SJW scum on the internet with their lies. A convo would make this plain. Their ultimate goal is to deplatform anyone who opposes social justice cry bullies. They produce zero evidence of bigotry. Indeed, I'm a soft-hearted and compassionate liberal who was invited to speak before the LGBTQ plus Republicans this summer. There is no evidence of hate. Van Sciver also indicated he would not have Renfamous or SJW Spider-Man on his channels, describing them as anti-LGBT monsters. But the truth is, they're the ones who don't deserve a platform for their toxicity. I speak to nearly 100,000 people on YouTube. I won't share that platform with abusers. I won't share it with anti-LGBT monsters like Renfamous or anonymous leftist thugs like SJW Spider-Man. Van Sciver had previously intimated that he had been open to debating Renfamous. And Artavana asked September 30th of 2018, would you debate? I said, I'd be happy to. I find Lauren to be very clever and funny. I'd be thrilled to debate her about our favorite topic, Comicsgate. And then she said, nope, I'm just a nobody cosplayer after all. I think the debate you're looking for is between a Comicsgate founder and one of the many comics pros who have been relentlessly harassed by Comicsgate. So that's weird. This is a switch around. Let's see. Oh, Ethan's run. Oh, Renfamous is okay. Renfamous says, oh, Ethan's running away. I had great debate topics picked out too. Merits of crowdfunding a second comic before you've even finished the first one. I think that's it, Mike. I think that's Mike. Is there a thing too obvious when grifting the Is there such a thing as too obvious when grifting the maggot crowd? Best way to explain the doll thing to your wife. It doesn't appear this debate will happen with Van Sciver on board. Given Renfamous has previously declined to debate Van Sciver, it lends credence to Van Sciver's claim that she has no intention of debating him. Would you want to see Renfamous and her team debate Benjamin Henderson, John Delarose, and Ethan Van Sciver? Do you think Renfamous's challenge to debate was in good faith?
No. She's coming back to debate because she's starving of oxygen. No one's paying attention to her anymore. So now she's like, I'll debate. Yes, Richard, Zack cut out Twitter. He's not paying attention to her anymore. You've blocked her pretty much on time. And now she's like, yeah, I'll debate. I'll do whatever the fuck I got to do to get someone to start paying attention. Nobody's paying attention to her anymore. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Well, it's so tempting.
I agree with Cecil.
We all just got to block her and
I'm
stop giving her any attention.
I really am a sucker. Like, I would love to debate her. But do I want to get on an airplane to debate her? No. I'm very busy. I have a 2.5-year-old daughter. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm staying home. I have no plans to do any conventions except for one, and that's Star Wars Celebration. Well, she could meet me at Star Wars Celebration. She wanted to.
Plus, you can't die in a debate. You promised to die, in the speech you're supposed to be giving.
Yes. Well, they're not gonna kill me in a debate, are they?
I don't know. Could be a setup.
Hey, Ethan, I can't go to a Star Wars Celebration, but you're gonna be near me. You want to go have dinner when you're here?
No.
Oh, wow.
I'm kidding, Nasser. Yeah, I'd love to. Let me see what the chat is saying. Let's see. Do it. Let her dry out and die. To Cecil, you listen. Don't do it. I suspect a setup. No, Cecil's right. Don't give that B any air. Cecil the wise. Darn tootin'. Do it, Ethan. Don't. What do you have to gain? Hard pass. How did your last debates go with SJWs? Not great. Do it. Obey the Lord of Light. Don't do it. Renfamous says debate. She would just read the whole time. Well, yeah, they just ostracize you. Everyone's saying no.
No, first of all, she's a paid shill, and she's not getting any results anymore. She was getting tons of attention, and
She's
now
not.
she's not getting any attention anymore. Who even thinks about her?
It's true.
If we all
Are
just
you sure? I mean, I haven't seen Renfamous isn't getting attention.
No, SJW Spider-Man's the new guy. He's getting more.
I want to debate him. I like
Yeah,
SJW Spider-Man.
She's out. She's old news. If anything, debate him.
Well, I don't know. Can I do it? But can I do it from home? And if you need to look me in the eyes, I mean, I'll show my face the whole time. I mean, I just don't want to. The whole thing about traveling somewhere. It's just for what? I'm not traveling places. But I will debate anytime because, and I will do it anywhere. It doesn't have to be on my channel. It can be on someone else's channel, and I will show face, and I will look in the eyes if she wants to show her face as well. I don't. It doesn't bother me. The idea of starving her of oxygen doesn't. I don't know.
Just read a super
Not
chat.
that important to me. I don't know. I'm not sure, guys. Cardinal Sin never apologized to a blue-haired land whale, says Brett Fabre. Mark C says, you need to see the Geeks and Gamers car video for Lucasfilm. It's hilarious. Graham Patrick says, can't wait to see Nasser feed EVS a 2-day-old sandwich in his car. Leon Garnett says, if you do it, do your own video recording. Well, one assumes that it would be broadcast. Obi-Wan says, to quote the great Admiral, it's a trap. Yeah. And by the way, that whole thing that I wrote it before Renfamous said that she wanted to debate. I didn't look at Renfamous saying, yes, I will debate in person and go, no. I heard both of them say, no, I'm not debating. And I went, all right, fuck you guys, we're not debating. I was going to debate. I was going to debate Vox Day on Ethan Ralph's channel. You think I'm afraid of debating Renfamous?
No, I don't think you are. I mean, there's no point. All you'd be doing is breathing like it's all gain for her and no gain for you. It's like,
well, you think about the last 3 debates you've been to? I mean, they really had no substance of argument or anything like that. It was just a waste of your time.
Yeah, but I think somebody said my mic was off. That's because I was to the side of my microphone. I was reading something. Yeah, I don't know. But here's the thing: like, Renfamous is the beating heart of these idiots. Like the people who I debated were just like people who are orbiting Renfamous. You know, it's like Renfamous is the actual heart of the monster, and you know that she is because everyone follows her and just goes, Renfamous will protect us. I subscribe to Renfamous. I stand next to her. I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just let Renfamous do it.
But Ethan, at the end of the day, all she's going to do is call you a Nazi. We know she's not going to change her mind, and it's just going to be a waste of your time.
Yeah, I agree.
But I can say things too.
EVS wants to do it really bad. I can tell. So just do it.
Cecil, I'm listening to you. You know, it's like I don't want to run into something like what I want to do isn't always the best thing.
The few times you have debated people, it was completely uneventful and just monotonous and hard to listen to because they were just idiots and they had no point. What's the point? You're a Nazi and what? You did a sketchbook 10 years ago? Like, what the fuck are they going to say?
No, her questions are merits of crowdfunding a second comic before you've even finished the first one. Okay. I would say ask Jamal fucking Eigel that.
Ask Richard Pace.
Yeah, I mean, that's, well, Richard Pace hasn't finished his first one, but he hasn't crowdfunded another one. Jamal Eigel has grifted twice, and he hasn't finished either of them. I'm not crowdfunding a second comic book. I'm not. I'm sitting here doing Cyberfrog. So until Cyberfrog is finished, I have no plans to start a second comic book. You want to ask that question of Mike S. Miller, and he will tell you, well, my comic was finished. I did overlayer Meg and, those other books over top of it. But at the same time, I don't think it was that big of a deal. Is there such a thing as too obvious when grifting the MAGA crowd? I don't know. I guess there is, and that's why DC and Marvel are going out of business, and the MAGA crowd is coming over to us. See, the problem is that the MAGA crowd used to buy Marvel and DC comics and mainstream comics. Renfamous, the MAGA crowd is actually probably the mainstream comic book buying base of comics, which is why now that they're not with you anymore, the comic book industry is going out of business. So is it too obvious? Yeah, it seems to be. I think putting out 8 variant covers on the number 8th issue of Daredevil it doesn't work. It's too obvious. That's an obvious grift. They don't go for it. That's why comic shops go out of business. I'm pretty sure that making people buy 50 copies of a book that they can't sell 10 of in order to get a variant cover, what's it called? Lenticular variant cover that they can sell. That's an obvious grift. That didn't seem to work. I think canceling and relaunching Captain Marvel and all these other SJW comics over and over and over again with new number ones when they, crash out on the 5th issue, that's a pretty obvious grift. So I think that answers your own question, Renfamous. They're over here with us. The MAGA crowd's over here with us because of the grift that they've endured in the mainstream comic book industry, which is collapsing all around you. And that's why they're turning to you saying, please debate Ethan for us. Mm-hmm. Lauren, I would destroy you in a debate. I would take you apart. I'm a gentleman, though. Best way to explain the doll thing to your wife? What doll thing? Cutting a Rose Tico figure in half? She laughed at it like a normal person did. She thought it was funny. What else?
So you're going to be in a debate with her for an hour.
What else, you boozed up old hag?
She's going to yell at you for chopping up Rose Tico.
Renfamous, best way to explain what you're doing to your husband instead of making him happy. What do you do? How does he tolerate you? How does that poor guy tolerate living with you?
Well, it's because he never talks to her. She's on Twitter for 14 hours a day.
He's probably encouraging her. Shouldn't you be on Twitter?
Oh,
right.
Good Lord. I
she starts talking to him.
I feel like God, it really is like the comic book industry is collapsing all around. And we have this ridiculousness, like these questions. Renfamous, Comicsgate is succeeding. It's succeeding, and it should really scare you. Well, I guess it doesn't, because I don't think you're that concerned about the comic book industry, to be honest with you. I'm not sure that you're a fan, but it should really scare you that so many of these professionals are hanging their hopes on you of stopping us from doing what we're doing naturally, which is winning. It's on your shoulders, Renfamous. I don't think you're up to it.
No, she's not. You
want to debate me about cutting up action figures, you idiot? When the comic book industry is collapsing, you fucking idiot. You want me to talk about cutting up action figures?
No, just look at the digital.
You want to call people MAGA? You want to talk about grifting the MAGA crowd? You complete buffoon. When retailers are saying, stop it, stop sending us these incredibly ridiculous scams, these variant covers. We're closing our doors. You want to talk about this? Where are accusations of bigotry, Renfamous? Why isn't that even on your fucking list? Where's the Nazi accusations? Are we done with those now? Now we're talking about action figures? Dummy. What's the plan? What is the plan for saving comics? Because that seems to be on your shoulders. You've got all of these comic pros like, please help us by being witty. You're very witty. You're very funny. Comic book industry is dying. and we've walked away from it. The MAGA crowd has walked away with it from it. They're following us at this point. They like what we're doing. They like what we have to say. I don't know. I mean, it's almost too sad. Like, it's sad. You know, once you get past this whole thing about exposing Comicsgaters as bigots, you know, it's kind of a self-defeating thing. They don't like that. I mean, these people are actual customers. They don't want to have to justify themselves to some boozed up old cosplayer from Austin, Texas, wasting your time on the internet, dunking on comic book fans that don't agree with what's going on in comics right now. It's like
she's getting those likes from Joe Q, so that's all that matters.
You're on the right side of history, Renfamous, but you're history. You understand? We're the future. This is the future of comics, and it's so sad. When I say that we're the future of comics, that isn't a boast. I hang my head when I say that. Comics have no future because of idiots like you and the people that you lead around by the nose, by the people that you entertain. We're going to be all that's left.
I think that's for the best. I'm not complaining if Marvel goes out of business. I'd like to be all that's left.
I just, you know.
Well, in some ways.
I don't. I would like a healthy comic book industry. But I really feel like at some point, somewhere along the line, some people let a bunch of Renfamouses break into comics and start making decisions for the health of an industry that was already past its prime.
What do you mean some people? It's Joe Quesada. It's fucking
Joe Quesada. No. There are individuals that I could list, SJWs. SJWs get in and then they open the doors.
Yeah,
for
but
more SJWs.
Little pet. Like he makes it very clear to everybody in Comicsgate like that she's got his seal of approval.
Yeah.
How much you think he's paying her?
Oh, I don't think he is. I think there's another situation going on with that. But
I agree with VBS. You know, like I don't want to see these characters just vanish. You know what I mean? I grew up with these characters, and I hate to see them just be destroyed because SJW.
Well, they're not. If they're not going to be destroyed, they're going to exist somewhere else. And I'm not worried about the future of Spider-Man or the future of Superman. They're going to continue to have a future. It's just the comic books aren't. And there are a lot of people, myself included, who spent my life learning a discipline, learning an art form, learning how to do comics. And I was hoping that this career would carry me through the rest of my life. But of course it's not. You know, it's just not. Comics can't survive this. Comics already are a tiny little niche of a niche audience. And you know, when those people, comic books are an addiction. People need to be addicted to comic books. You need to say, I got to find out what's happening in the next issue of Batman. I got to get to the comic shop and buy that. And then whatever else looks cool. It's an addiction. And addictions, as we know, are breakable. You can't conquer addictions. And you could certainly be shamed out of an addiction. You know, you can just decide that the addiction, the consequences of the addiction are too great. You know, it's like I don't want this for my life anymore. I don't want to have to listen to these people. I'm not enjoying it as much as I used to. All of these things cause you to lose an addiction and walk away from it, and that is what's happening in comics right now.
I felt everything you just said, Ethan. I think I've been I'm the newest one here to comics. I've only been reading them since 2013. And I was addicted at first. You know, that the first and only time I ever overdrafted my bank account was I was in high school buying Batman comics on eBay. Huge addiction. And then in the last couple years, these people just killed it for me. I go to the comic shop, I walk out with 1 or 2 books. Like on Black Friday, they had a sale. Everything $5 and under was only $1. I walked out of there with 3 whole comics. They've just killed it for me.
Well, I mean, it's not, you're not alone, and we're watching it with decreasing sale numbers. So, you know, look, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. Do I have 100% confidence that like we're going to make it either? No, I don't. The comic book industry is just the idea of selling these magazines to people is becoming tougher and tougher because the audience is shrinking and moving on to other things. But Comicsgate is doing what it can to reestablish a new model and a new communication between us and fans and readers, and try to get enough people interested in buying everything that we do so that we can actually support ourselves, doing what we're trained to do. I don't see the same. Working. Yeah, I just don't see the same future for mainstream comics right now.
Right.
And I don't know what Renfamous's plan is to do that. I'm not sure like what dunking on Comicsgate and getting Comicsgate to go away is going to do at this point. There is a goddamn meteor headed for the Earth that's going to cause mass extinction, and these idiots are sitting there running around trying to make sure that everybody isn't homophobic before it hits. It's disgraceful. It's an entire waste of time. There are things that we could actually be doing to make comics sellable, to make fans interested, to make them feel invited, to make them feel a part of this. And instead, we're having arguments with these idiotic social justice warriors who are basically orgasming to the dopamine hits of being told they're on the right side of history by arguing with and embarrassing normal people. Normal people. These weirdos. Debate Renfamous? There's no debate to be had. The comic book industry is dying. You're laughing while it's happening. And you're getting whatever you can get out of it. Social media plaudits while these idiots who are signed up with you, their livelihoods are on the line. Making me go away? Let's say that you defeated me somehow in a debate. And let's just say that defeat led to me never being able to produce another comic book again. It's not going to change a goddamn thing about these people's situations. Comics are dying. Is it just that you need me to die too? You want? I'm not allowed to make a living either. I'm sorry. I've left already. I'm on my own. I had to. But these people are all going to have to come to the same conclusion that I did. Learn to code. That's your option right now. If you're not going to do what I'm doing, learn to fucking code.
Like you were saying earlier, the best thing to do right now is is develop this new platform which you're doing. You connect with the customer base and they support you. Because they know you, they get to know you, they get to understand your personality and who you are, and they feel like that you establish that connection with them on a personal level. So all they want to do is support you, and I guess that's the new model for now for comics.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, guys. The truth of the matter is that what we're watching happen is we're watching the waters rise and people struggling and drowning. And it's ugly. I told Mike this because Mike loves Bible stuff. We're building an ark. I mean, that's, and it's raining. And just like in the Holy Bible, these people pointed and laughed while Noah built an ark until they were floating next to the ark. That is... that's what's happening. It's so sad. All right, let me look at these super chats. And guys, thank you for the super chats. Appreciate it. Oh, let me blow this back up again.
By the way, the thing of saying learn to code to them is going to drive them fucking insane.
I know. I know.
Right.
That is a killer.
Okay, Billy Ritchie says, who needs the overpriced tickets of Disney World when you got Kennedy Space Center 100% soy free? Jay Hamilton, $10. Thank you. Says, honestly, we should just ignore these idiots. Make your books. Let them do the talking for you. They'll crawl back into their troll holes when your books come out and are proven wrong. Brett Favre says, everyone in the chat should disavow Renfamous. Arthur Brown, the Uncanny Kodiak, says, can you sign a picture of Cyberfrog kissing Salamandroid for me? Absolutely. Absolutely. Andrew Huerta says there's no reason to debate Ren in person. If she wants to debate you, she can do it fine on a live stream. I think Renfamous thinks that her presence, like I might be shy in person, and that she'll overpower me with her brilliant personality. Renfamous, yeah, I think it probably would be better if people didn't see you in person. There's a reason why the cosplay community kind of unpersoned you years ago. You're not a nice person. You're not exactly brimming with charisma and charm, from what I understand. I am, though. All right. Diablo AZ says, sounds like stern, honest, and funny. I love it. Thank you, Diablo. Perkindo says, Ren's husband is fine. He has her boyfriend to keep him company. Ooh, that's not nice. Bugnish Bachwinkle says, I assume she includes herself in the nerd culture and is making fun of action figures. A fake nerd girl alert. Well, you know that, here's the thing, by the way. I'm always like, why are you guys, those of you who are pretending to be kind of in the culture, why are you calling these dolls? Like, everyone knows they're action figures. You know who calls them dolls? Like your big sister. You know what I mean? Why are you playing with dolls? Or like an adult. But like, you know, when you're a kid, you know these things are called action figures. They're not called... The Star Wars, I think, established that. Or was it? No, it was G.I. Joe. They're action figures. They're not dolls. That's weird. And dolls are not little and made of plastic. I just see them as... It's a different kind of thing. Brett Fabre says, the mainstream comics will die with SJW narratives, but you guys' comics will be the flower growing out of the concrete, and the fandom menace will be here to water it. 7 figures biatch. Well, there. By the way, is that what she's talking about? Crowdfunding a second comic? They're scared of Rainbow Brood.
Oh, yes, they are.
They're afraid that I'm going to do it before Cyberfrog's done. They're afraid of that. Yikes. I thought they were referring to Mike. They're referring to me. They're like, don't you dare do that. I gotta think about that.
7 figures. Need to get a 7 figures jacket, an official one, really made leather, like an aviator jacket.
Yeah. Swinging Cod says, Uncle E, I missed the High Council last night. Where is the link? I don't know. He says, also, you're right about the addiction and breaking it. Have 70 long boxes. Quit from 14 to 18 until I found Comicsgate. Now I bought 24 comics. Good man. Crispy Chip says, Julius Caesar, Joseph Smith, Noah. Epic EVS stream. Thank you, my MAGA hat wearing friend. Benjamin Fusilier says, hey, Uncle E, any recommendations for artists? I have a script. Outlaw Knights, Piracy in the Distant Future, Badass Rogues and Guns. What more can you want? Hit me up on Twitter, loving the show. Benjamin Fusilier, anyone who is interested in drawing a book with him, should let him know. Let him know. If you're an artist and you want to get in there, go find a writer and do it. Yeah, High Council is on Jeremy's personal YouTube channel, says Noir24. When it's not on my channel, I don't have access to the link. But I think the way that it works is that the link that he tweeted out will still lead you there. That's the impression that I got. King of Scotland says, how do you think Cyberfrog would transfer over as an animated series? Great. I think it would be terrific.
I'd like to see it as an anime. You know how they got those fast action-paced scenes and all that chaos? Cyberfrog would look cool like that.
I had 3D Robin do me another dance sequence of Cyberfrog. I'll show you. It's pretty funny. All right, let me blow this up. And I needed a new dance sequence. At the end of all my videos, it says, hey, you want to subscribe to me on Twitter? And that, like, there's this old kind of thing that I did. Well, I wanted something new, so I paid 3D Robin to do this. And I swear to God, I've watched this 100 times, and it really makes me laugh. So hang on a second, I'll share it. And there'll be like some sort of Motown Philly kind of background music behind this. All right, it's going to be like house party. All right, watch this. Hold on a second. Let me get this over again. Okay, here he goes. Check this out. Oh, I love
That's
it.
good.
Yeah. All right, 3D Robin. Great job. He wants to do a couple more things to it, but I was just like, I laughed so hard. I watched that a million times. I want that on a loop. It's
Get
just
some b-boy
incredible.
music.
Yeah. Somebody said, please don't be Fortnite dances. No. Yeah, like when you guys are watching it, it looks a little rough. It's smooth when you actually see the whole thing, you'll see. But I'm watching the playback. It's a little rough. Yeah, 3D Robin is the man. Yeah, well, he did a new figure. Like he broke down the Cyberfrog from his video game and then did a new one. I don't know, build a new model, I guess you would call it. Obi-Wan, thanks for $50. Here's some change towards a pre-order copy of Rainbow Brute. Make those NPCs, SJWs melt in the rain like the Wicked Witch. I just realized that's what it is. They all know, like these idiots, Cecil.
Yes,
They're afraid of us.
of course.
Like they're sitting there going, Rainbow Brute. Like that's, we think it's going to hit 7 figures. Now, I don't think it's going to hit 7 figures. I have no idea what it's going to do. I have no idea. But they seem to think that it's going to be really successful. So they're like, don't do it. Like, I could very easily call Indiegogo and say, let's get the Rainbow Brute campaign going now. And
Right.
they wouldn't do the payout, but
They're doing whatever they can to delay you. They're trying to slow the whole movement down.
Mm-hmm.
why don't these people want me to be a millionaire? Why? Why can't they just be happy for me?
Envy.
That's a great write that question down for the debate with Ren. Why can't you be happy for me?
Oh, I love that. That's a great question. Why? Why can't you just be happy for me?
Because you're such a Nazi.
Why can't you be supportive of me winning?
Support bigots.
I don't understand. All right,
It's because of your toxic masculinity, Ethan. That's why you don't understand.
I'm open to questions from the chat. Like, what questions? Renfamous's questions for me, her debate topics were merits of crowdfunding a second comic before you've even finished the first one. The merits are lots of money and to embarrass and humiliate and frighten you. Those are the merits. Would I do it? No. Number two is there such a thing as too obvious when grifting the maggot crowd? I think we figured that out by declining comic sales. And best way to explain the doll thing to your wife, the doll thing. They're really hung up on this.
Yeah.
These are people that literally support cutting up fetuses in the womb with scissors.
Mm-hmm.
Like they support that. And they wear t-shirts that say, I got an abortion. And so like they make light of it. They make fun of it. And then they see me cut up an action figure with scissors, just cut its head off for a joke. And it like
coming from the white male,
it's so upsetting to them. It's like really like they're like, oh my God, it's psychopathic.
I know you got a valid point. That's a valid point.
I mean, holy God, like these people with their fur babies. I mean, do you understand? These people don't understand what human life actually is. Like an action figure is representative of human life when it's really just a cluster of cells, plastic cells.
Mm-hmm.
Men.
I don't. These people are absolutely crazy.
They're grasping at straws. When I hear them complain about the Rose Tico thing, I'm like, what the like? This is your big gripe in life? Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah. You cut up toys. Well, they'll say you cut up toys, and that means you're a psychopath. Which I go, okay. Or like you cut up your toys and you're an adult. Yeah. My dad kind of did the same thing, and he was an adult. He cut up some of my toys that he didn't like. Threw them away. He didn't cut them up, but he threw them away, or he'd stomp on them. Maybe that's where this is coming from, Cecil. Maybe this psychoanalysis here.
Having a breakthrough.
Yeah. I might cry. And I did back over the head of a Funko Pop. Somebody just reminds me. That was funny. Well, I wanted to see if it really would pop. That was the
And that was Holdo, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
holdout. It didn't pop. It like squeaked.
I'm
Remember?
seeing the trend of the ones that you are violently attacking now.
Yeah. They're all women.
Hashtag I'm with
Literally shaking.
I am the. It's pretty clear at this point. I am the Ted Bundy or the Jack the Ripper of toys. Of female toys. I only attack female toys. And I like.
These live streams are going to be on Netflix in 20 years when they're doing recordings of Ethan Van Sciver.
And they're female toys. Why, Ethan? Why do you do that?
It's very telling, Ethan.
It is telling.
It's not a good look.
It's not a good look. And the other thing that they do is they go, they'll say something. They'll be like, Nasser supports the Nazi party. He's a white supremacist, blah, blah, blah. And then they go, it's not surprising, really. Like, have you noticed that?
Yeah.
They'll all go, it's not surprising, really, when you consider blah, blah, blah. They all talk exactly the same. I'm like, if it's not surprising, why are you fucking tweeting about it? Like, what is the plan? What is the point of tweeting something that is not surprising or that's perfectly obvious? It's not surprising, really. We're not really, and they talk about like they always talk about themselves in plural form, as though they're speaking on behalf of other people. We're not surprised when. Maybe that's the role.
I think that's in their programming.
Lord Dankington, thanks for £5. Check out My Hero Academia superhero anime. It's an amazing show with deep and interesting characters, with truly great fight scenes. Absolutely. All right, so here's what I want to ask the chat. So we've heard that Renfamous is 3 debate topics. What are your debate topics for me and Renfamous? Like, what would I debate Renfamous about? Besides the main point, which is why can't you just be happy for my success? Which I think is a good one, Cecil.
I think that should be your lead off.
Yeah, why can't you just be happy that like we're winning?
Tone.
I didn't really think about that. Why? I'm happy when other people succeed.
Yeah, I'm happy for Ren when she gets a new wig or whatever.
Yeah, I am very happy.
I'm happy for her when Joe Quesada gives a like to one of her tweets. I'm like, she must be feeling good today. Good for her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people have some personal, like, I don't want to debate why she doesn't trim her eyebrows. That's not like what I mean. We want to debate about comics.
And first of all, we have to deal with Nasser before we get to her.
Yeah, like seriously, talk about glass houses.
Right.
And Nasser won't do anything about his eyebrows.
I did once and nobody noticed.
Well, then you didn't. You know what I mean?
The barber did the thing where he puts like the comb there and then he cuts it with scissors and then he like threaded the top of them. And then I went on a stream and I showed my face and like the whole time no one said a single thing. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Nobody noticed, not one comment.
Amazing.
I bet your eyebrow tried to bite your barber.
People want to know who's paying Renfamous. That's one thing. I don't know. Does purple hair dye really cause brain damage? What is your recovery time? Ask Shinto Ketchup. Joe says, what comics does she buy and how long has she been buying? Yeah, ever since the Anita Sarkeesian thing where it was like suddenly she's a gamer, she's a video gamer, and then somebody found footage of her actually saying, I don't play video games, but I'm gonna have to learn because we're gonna, like people don't trust this one particular female who just speaks up on behalf of a fan community.
She's like one of those sleeper agents that they put just to disrupt governments and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if Renfamous buys comics. I don't really care. I don't think it's the point. I wouldn't say like we should like nobody should exclude her fandom. Like if she's a comic book fan or even if she's a new comic book fan, it really doesn't matter. it's all about like the argument and what she has to say about, you know, the state of comics, the importance of Comicsgate, how much of what she says is valid, how much of what she says is good, valid criticism, and you know, how much of it is just bullshit, and why? Like, what is the point? What is the end result of arguing with me about my survival tactics as a comic book artist? Like, you know, here's what I'm doing. I'm trying to build a new kind of comic book company over here. That's how I plan to survive the collapse of the mainstream comic book industry, which I feel is coming.
That's actually a good question for, okay, you win. I've left. I'm not doing Cyberfrog anymore. Now, what do you get out of that? What is your win there? That's the question to ask her. Like, what does comics now recover, and comics is doing great now? What do you think?
Well, I think she would say, well, she would have this whole disingenuous thing like, well, now women and gays and people of color won't be harassed anymore by you. Which is like, you know, that's the whole thing. Like, they're harassing women and people of color. I don't recall doing that. I'm always waiting for that. I'm always like, I always ask myself that question. Like, am I being gaslit here? When have I ever harassed women and people of color in comics? Like, what is that? Where's that from?
I don't know, but I know you've been grooming me. So.
That's true. So if I'm, then there will be, comics will be a safer place because you're not there. Well, it's like, I'm not there. I'm over here. So basically, is it that I'm supposed to not point out what the mainstream comic book industry is doing that's going to lead to its doom? That's interesting, but like, the other criticism is you're just talking about Star Wars all the time like a loser. So I'm not even talking about like comics. I'm not pointing at these individuals. I'm over here talking about Star Wars like a loser and cutting up action figures like a weirdo. What does that have to do with the comic book industry?
You know, they always say like, if you don't like it, don't buy it, don't read it. So if they don't like your videos, why are they watching? They got this weird obsession.
Yeah, like, all right, so that's true. And other people do like it, obviously, and they are watching. I've got 95,100 subscribers now. So am I allowed to entertain my tens of thousands, my nearly 100,000 person fan base? Am I allowed to? Because like, if Renfamous is saying, and those people, Renfamous and her weirdos, are saying, well, you know, we don't want you in comics. All right. Can I entertain my enormous fan base? Can I use my profitable YouTube channel to do whatever I do, to make whatever kind of videos that I want to make, to entertain them? Because honestly, I think if I were a psychopath and we're making crazy, sexist, psychopathic videos all the time, I'm pretty sure that I wouldn't have a channel for very much longer, and I wouldn't have this huge of a fan base. So I think the idea, I mean, really, when you examine this from any angle, the idea is just, we persecuted you and drove you out of mainstream comics, and then you succeeded. We don't want that. Like, we want you to be.
Argument.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
Right. We wanted you to suffer. We wanted you to be unemployable, and
you were supposed to be bagging groceries. That was our goals. And
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's a great question to ask her. Is like, what does it change your life? Suppose I was bagging groceries. Would
that be good enough?
How did your life get better from that? What happened? Did comics get better? Did your life? It's a win. What are you fighting for? It doesn't do anything for you if you win. It's a useless battle.
So this is essentially, Cecil, they're just bullying me for the sake of bullying me.
Basically,
that's what it is.
They get if they win, if they do get you in the supermarket bagging, she gets nothing. She makes no money from it. Comic books makes no more money from it. No one wins anything. It's just to punish you. Their whole campaign is just about punishment.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Well, can you blame them? He's a Nazi.
That's true. They did have those trials at Nuremberg.
So that's what this is all about. Liam says, in a market of diminishing sales, is it not our moral obligation to explore new directions and follow the existing market rather than progressing to ruin? Liam, I think it is. And I'm just one man, and I refuse to be bullied by these people. I have zero respect for them. Zero respect. So I refuse to be bullied by these people, and I refuse to go away. I don't know. I refuse to bag groceries. I'm a multi-talented genius. Ask Jeff Johns. He'll tell you. Jeff used to do these interviews where he'd be like, I'm working with genius Ethan Van Sciver. And I could never tell if he was busting my balls or if that's what he really felt. So it's, I'll use that word advisedly. I'm very good at I'm good at everything, really. I'm pretty good at everything except for soccer and basketball. And I'm pretty sure that wherever I go, I'll succeed. So I'm not going to go away. I'm not going to fail. I'm going to succeed at everything I try. And I'm going to try to bring people with me. I'm going to try to find people who are struggling, who are talented, who need a hand up. And I'm going to try to bring them along with me. And I'm gonna feel good when they succeed. When I see people who align with Comicsgate able to raise $25,000 on their first comic book, I'm gonna feel pretty good about myself because I helped. And this is all a struggle. It's my struggle. All of this.
Well, you helped me achieve that, and so I thank you with that.
Yeah. Leodar says you're not good at resisting cookies. That's fair enough. It's good criticism. But yeah, it is a struggle, and it's it's not like we're being handed this stuff. We're fighting really hard to make comics that people want to read, to get people excited about comic books again. I'm struggling to build up Comicsgate into something that's valuable, and at the same time do my own comic book, maintain this channel. And also be a husband and father. I don't have a lot of time for other stuff, but man, it's all worth it. All of this is worthy. All of it's worthwhile. I just won't hear that it isn't. I think everything that I'm doing right now is good, and I think I was put here for a reason. I think I was put here at this moment for a reason. And there aren't too many people who are willing or able to do this, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to help other people. I'm going to help myself. I'm going to become, as I told them, I said, I left DC to become very rich. And they said, ew, yeah, right. You're going to, Ethan, somebody said, I read this like on a Newsarama article where they recorded my comments. Somebody goes, yeah, Ethan left DC Comics to enter the lucrative world of independent comics. I know it's not lucrative for you guys, you doubters. I know it's not because you're dumb. But I can actually make money in independent comics because I'm smart. Simple. Oh, and talented. If most
they're just used to losing money.
They're used to just losing everything, losing all the time. If most of these people fell out of their jobs, they'd be in real trouble. When the comic book industry dies, most of these people are going to be in real trouble.
They got to learn to code.
Everyone's got to learn to code.
It reminds me of this thing Zack said before when he looked at the sales and they were down like 10% or something, and everyone was saying it's fine, and Zack's like, well, would you say it was fine if you lost 10% of your dick?
Yeah. Oh my God, Zack was awesome. Yeah, don't forget Humble, EVS. I will not forget Humble. Michael Strelitz says you're not smart, but charming and a good artist. Well, you're right. I'm smart about some things and dumb about others. 10% of your dick.
And then another 10% every year.
I miss Zack out here busting on SJWs. I gotta say, if he's listening now, man, I wish he would come back to Twitter and just
start doing live streams again. He used to at least once a week.
He won't. His whole thing is like, when I live stream, people get too close to me, and then weirdos like Zack has gone through stuff that I haven't. To be fair, though, a lot of it is his fault because he does let people get too close to him. You know, like he's got that gay German stalker. You know, that gay German stalker was harassing me too. Like he would send me emails saying, I'm just doing this. I'm doing this to make Zack better. And I'm like, what? Stop. And I would just say, stop emailing me. I do not wish to hear from you. Do not email me again. This is harassment. Simple as that. But that's the guy who got Zack's dark roast, you know, showed that around to all the SJWs.
I really miss his Twitter drama videos. Those are my favorite ones.
So fun. Oh, so fun. But that was the whole thing. Just because Zack wouldn't go out with him. The dark roast got out there because Zack wouldn't go out with this guy. And so he's just like, when I live stream people, Zack's like, when I live stream people get too close to me, they think they know me, and then they cause me trouble. So I'm just gonna, you know.
Has that happened with you?
The people got too close to me?
Yeah.
I think that's what came about.
About having a moment with people and avoiding things like that with Gail. Like when people come and overshare to a comic book pro, and then they want physical contact, like a hug. That's too much. That's getting too close to someone. We don't need to have that. You know. So no, up to this point, I can't think of anybody getting too close to me and it causing me trouble. You know, I've had people. Obviously, I've had good friends who decided that it was probably a better idea to stab me in the back. You know. And use what they knew about me to get themselves into positions of mediocrity, you know, straight to the bottom of the ladder, like Richard Pace and Moose, you know, like those guys. But I mean, you know, no, I don't think I let people get too close, you know, I don't think so. Is my mic too loud?
No, you're good.
Well, either way, I still think he should, I don't know, correct that and still do live streams, because I think that was a better connection to the audience, even once a week.
Well, I don't disagree, and I'll say this again. You know, he's almost done getting Jawbreakers out there, and then he's gonna crowdfund another book, and I'm like, how are you gonna do that without live streaming? How are you gonna crowdfund without live streaming to your audience? You have to. You know, you got to do it. You got to connect with them, and you got to get them excited about what you're selling and what you have coming up. You have to, and if you don't do that, like it's just not gonna. I mean, you'll get results, but you're not going to get the kind of results that you're hoping for. I mean, you remember Cyberfrog and Red Rooster and all, like live streaming all the time, constantly out there like a fishmonger, fresh fish. You have to get out there. You have to let people know. You know. So I don't know. Nasser gets gay pygmies after him, says Hugh Hoyland.
What?
I don't know. That's what they're said. Casey Izawa says, have him on here, EVS. Yeah, he'll come on my channel, you know.
Send him the link right now.
Zack's got that, and Zack also has the lawsuit, and you know,
I think he might have some fear of saying something wrong on a live stream where he has control over what he puts out in videos. So that is probably what's going on. That's what
probably a good thing. Vasan Kasai says, how is Zack's court case proceeding? I thought he toned down live streams to avoid slipping fodder to Mark Zaid and the super lawyer. Mark Zaid, the super lawyer. Yeah, I think initially that was the idea. But you know what? He doesn't say that. Like when I ask him, I'm like, Zack, when are you going to live stream again? He goes, never. Why? Because it's been the source of all of my trouble. What the fuck? It's been the source of your success. I don't know what you mean. But his court case is going real well. Real well. Let's put it that way. Some weird kind of stuff happened to me about it. And I told you about this a couple weeks ago when I said somebody in comics reached out to me to see if I could influence this.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, you know, when you hear stuff like that, you go, yeah.
They don't want to get in front of a judge, basically.
Yeah. I'm not saying anyone from his side of the aisle. Okay, this was a friend probably who reached out to me to say, "You have influence over Zack. Why don't you?" This person said to me, "Why don't you see if maybe you can talk to him and then maybe, I don't know, like be the like, okay, like what if he'll settle for the $75,000 and then that gets donated to charity? What do you think of that?" And then Zack's just the bigger man, you know, like it shows that Comicsgate. I was like, listen to me very closely. Get wrecked. This is not about Zack. It's not even really about Mark Waid. It's about the current culture that's going on right now. Zack is being backed and supported by hundreds of thousands of people who have endured terrible things at the hands of people like Mark Waid over the last 2 years. So everyone's invested in this. And under no circumstances is he going to be shown any quarter whatsoever. And also the idea that I'm going to call and Zack's going to listen to me is insulting. You know, he's not going to listen to me, even if I told him to do that. So, you know, this is going to be utter devastation. No mercy shown. None. Zero. And it's going to send a message. Knock it off. This is a message Renfamous should hear.
When is this? What's the date? Do they have a court date yet?
There is a date, and I can't tell you.
But there is a date. Okay, so that's
there's a date. Like stuff's moving apace, but if he's not going to tell you, I'm not going to tell you anything. The only things I can tell you are what I personally dealt with, and I dealt with that part. So I'll tell you about that. But other than that, I mean, there's fear. There's genuine fear. And, you know, I think I said in a live stream before that if you want to look at the way the mainstream comic book industry, the SJW converged comic book industry sees the state of play right now, go look at the top 100 most powerful people in comics. Okay.
Right.
If you look at that, you'll see a lot of hidden messages in there. It's not based on anything except for what these SJWs want people to think. So Zack is not on the list as a powerful person. I am. Okay. So I've taken Zack's place. What are they saying by that? You know, that's a message. Why is Renfamous, I don't know, eight spots more powerful than me? That's a message. Why is Mark Waid number 96 on the list when he runs Humanoids and he's Mark Waid? Because they're saying, we know you're going to beat Mark Waid in this lawsuit, and we don't care because we're done with him. He's not that important. That's what that was.
Right. That's so that they could say, "Oh, big deal, you beat him. We don't even care about him anyway."
Exactly. He was over with. Mark Waid on a thread on Gail Simone's page actually signaled something interesting. This was fairly recently. Mark Waid said, yeah, you know, some of these guys, some of these conservative pros who think they've been blacklisted, you know, we all have to kind of accept that, you know, our window is a certain period of time, and then we age out of the job. And he's like, I have to come to terms with the fact that I'm about, you know, 6 or 2 weeks from aging out of the job myself. This is Mark Waid's way of saying I'm going to exit stage left. You know, as well. I mean, he's already accepted this too. I mean, the whole thing is interesting.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be fun, man. When the case is actually going, it is going to be fun. I have 100% confidence, 100% that this is going to be devastating for Mark Waid. And it's weird. It's going to be weird. I'll probably make a video that just shows the whole arc. People who haven't been paying attention to Comicsgate really and are just now getting involved, you need to see the whole story arc. You need to see the story arc starting from, you know, Richard's initial encounters with people like Heather Antos, all the way to me popping up and trying to kind of make peace Mark Waid being on my live stream, Mark Waid stabbing me in the back and saying that my fans deserve to be cut open and fucked with a rusty chainsaw, you know, all the way until present day. You know, it's like the Jawbreaker situation and Mark Waid at the end of it. That's a story arc. That's a fantastic story arc, and I'm looking forward to making the video about it and just telling that story once we have an ending to it. It's gonna be great. Yeah.
It's gonna happen. When is this date you're gonna give that speech? Here you go.
What date am I giving a speech? What, the gay speech?
Yeah, if you go. When is it again?
That's June 8th.
All right.
I believe.
Where is it?
Washington, D.C.
Can I write your ending? I'll write your story.
That's the ending of my story. Yeah, I'm gonna get the documentary. I won't even get to see the lawsuit end. I won't get to see the case end.
Who was the who was the group that invited you? Was it the log cabin Republicans or something?
Let me double check. Yeah, I took a picture of the invite. I was very happy about it. Hashtag come out for America. Hashtag takebackpride.net. So takebackpride.net. I guess that's where you will learn about this organization, the LGBTQ Straight Alliance. Yeah.
Where did you get there to do the speech and it's just Mark Waid and Moose and Ren with bats in a room?
I'll take them all. I'll take them all on.
Like
No
Tommy,
problem.
when Tommy thinks he's going to get made. And he
Yeah,
gets
yeah, yeah.
EVS is gonna go and they're gonna do like the Warriors where they shoot the leader and they blame it on EVS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's a possibility. Sure.
I would drive down to DC to watch the speech.
Would you really?
Yeah, of course, 100%.
I got to think about it. What I said was, I wrote back and just said, I'm honored and I would love to consider it. So I have not approved. I've not accepted yet. I have not said I would do it. I didn't say I wouldn't do it. Liam said, my writing mentor taught me that the most important thing is holding on to your love. There's no aging out of your job. But if you lose your love and your passion, if you're poisoned by hate, it's over. Yeah. That is true. All right, guys. Well, I don't know. How long has this been going on? How long has this chat been? I know.
3 hours.
3 hours.
Yes,
That's
sir.
long.
Yeah, I told myself I'd only be on for 10 minutes.
And here you are. Yeah, well, it's very compelling.
Snow today? Why are you not at work, Nasser? Because of the cold?
Sorry, you cut out there. What'd you say, Cecil?
Why aren't you at work from the weather?
Yeah, work got canceled today.
Wow.
Well, that's terrible. But anyway, I want to thank everyone for being here. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I enjoyed the stream. It was just to test out my new microphone, which works great. Very happy with my new microphone, and it ended up being kind of cathartic and fascinating. I hope you guys enjoyed it and had a good time. We had about 1,000 people in here the whole time, and you know, back to work, right? Like back to Cyberfrog. Back to Nasser. What are you working on?
A novel.
Okay, Critias, what are you working on? Detective Dead?
Yeah, and Deadman Outlaw, which is a new project for later in the year.
Cool. All right, fellas. Cecil, I know what you're working on. Fifth, you know, Jen. But you know, we're gonna get together soon. We will talk about Rainbow Brew. I don't want to think about anything else until Cyberfrog's done yet. That's why we've not spoken about it. But
Right.
definitely, you know, think about it, and we'll get together soon. All right, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.